Chapter 231, Black Flash 9. Jaeon Myung-hoon stretches his hand towards the sky. The stage of opening a basic spiritual connection by linking the energy of the heavens with his own energy, called observing the celestial energy. This is the 7 stars ritual. He proudly performs the ritual, asking the celestial and terrestrial spirits for guidance, thinking, once I get through this stage, only the long-awaited dual cultivation stage remains. Just as Jaeon Myung-hoon and Jin Chan are about to start the ritual. Wo Wang. A look of confusion appears in Jaeon Myung-hoon's eyes. Master, I can't read the celestial phenomenon because of the dark clouds. Jin Chan's expression hardens as he observes the dark clouds. Let's wait a bit longer. It might be a temporary phenomenon, he says, clenching his lips tightly. The wind will blow them away soon. At those words, Jaeon Myung-hoon waits in his place. Unbeknownst to Jaeon Myung-hoon, elders and seniors throughout the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sector watching closely as they conduct the 7 stars ritual. Seo Eun-yun is also among them. Seo Eun-yun sits atop a peak above his residence, looking at the dark clouds with a smile. Indeed, how will you overcome the heavenly rejection? Initially, Jaeon Myung-hoon and Jin Chan seem to wait, but as the dark clouds show no sign of dissipating, both grow anxious. Master, the sun will rise in a few hours. I know, just wait, surely those clouds won't stay till sunrise. However, the unlikely became reality. The dark clouds never moved away. Jaeon Myung-hoon and Jin Chan helplessly watched the dark clouds and greeted the morning. 2 months passed. Unbelievable. Rummaging through the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect's library, Jin Chan murmurs with a trembling voice. Heavenly rejection. Even the sect founder experienced the same phenomenon. For 2 months, regardless of the method attempted, Jaeon Myung-hoon's 7 stars ritual was repeatedly obstructed by dark clouds. Naturally, Jin Baek-ho was furious, and Jin Chan along with the senior members scoured the scripture pavilion for cases similar to Jaeon Myung-hoon's. Finally, they came across the phenomenon known as heavenly rejection. Jin Chan researched this and reported to Jin Baek-ho. Heavenly rejection. In the Golden Thunder Hall, most of the senior members of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect gathered for a meeting. Jin Baek-ho taps the armrest of his throne uneasily. So, the sect founder also experienced the same phenomenon. Yes, that's correct. Is there no record of how the founder overcame it? Regrettably, it only states that he overcame it with his tremendous talent. What exactly was that tremendous talent? My apologies. Jin Chan bows his head. Jin Baek-ho sighs. Can't a magic artifact solve this? Rubbing his throbbing head, he asks. According to his analysis, the phenomenon Jaeon Myung-hoon is facing is a form of heavenly tribulation. It isn't a lightning tribulation but a kind of heavenly tribulation deliberately obstructing the ritual. If it's that kind of heavenly tribulation, using a magic artifact to break through it won't be an issue. If it's a superior grade magic artifact, it can certainly break through the dark clouds. Then if we give him a superior grade magic artifact. However, activating a superior grade magic artifact requires at least the spiritual power of the late chi refining stage. To handle a superior grade magic artifact, one needs to be at the late chi refining stage. But to reach the late chi refining stage, one has to complete the 7 stars ritual. It's a paradox. Unless someone of the Mad Lord's caliber, there's no one who can create a superior grade magic artifact that a low-stage chi refining cultivator can use. We've inquired all over the bright cold realm to no avail. Indeed, of course, we absolutely should not seek out that mad old man to borrow his puppet. Sigh, what are we supposed to do now? Jin Baek-ho presses the veins bulging on his forehead, suppressing his irritation. Suddenly, his gaze shifts to the vice sect leader, Jin Hee. Vice sect leader Jin Hee, when you were teaching Seo Eun-yun, did you ever encounter such heavenly rejection? Probably not. I've never heard of heavenly rejection occurring to someone with the lightning sacred body. Actually, Seo Eun-yun also experienced a similar phenomenon. What? Jin Baek-ho's eyes widen at Jin Hee's words. Why haven't you mentioned this until now? My apologies. Seo Eun-yun, or rather Elder Seo simply tore through the dark clouds and conducted the 7 stars ritual so effortlessly, we weren't even sure if it was the heavenly rejection phenomenon. Well, that's fine. Anyway, how did Seo Eun-yun so easily overcome the heavenly rejection phenomenon? Responding to Jin Baek-ho's question, Jin He speaks with an awkward expression. When Elder Seo raised his hand, a thick bolt of lightning burst forth, instantly tearing through the dark clouds. He then simply proceeded with the 7 stars ritual. Quote. That was the end of it. Hee. At Jin He's statement, Jin Baek-ho lets out a hollow laugh. It's hardly helpful, yet, at the same time, it's nice to have such an exceptional disciple in the sect. However, he also can't understand why a disciple possessing the heavenly golden thunder body like Jaeon Myung-hoon is struggling so much with a ritual that a disciple with the lightning sacred body passed through so easily. No, come to think of it, it's always been like this. Jin Baek-ho massages his throbbing temples, internally comparing Seo Eun-yeon and Jaeon Myung-hoon. Thinking about it, Seo Eun-yeon ascended on his own merit and possessed a consciousness domain of a late-stage nascent soul cultivator. Upon receiving the accumulating lightning technique, he rose to the 6th star overnight, and it took him less than 10 days to reach the pinnacle of chi refining, including the time for the 7 stars ritual. And now, just a year and a half after entering the sect, he has reached the early peak of nascent soul and is tirelessly working to rise to the mid-nascent soul stage. In contrast, Jaeon Myung-hoon had to start with basic etiquette training instead of learning cultivation methods upon his initial entry due to his lack of manners. When he finally began training in cultivation methods, he was also far behind Seo Eun-yeon. Moreover, according to Jin He, both Seo Eun-yeon and Jaeon Myung-hoon experienced heavenly rejection, but Seo Eun-yeon seemed to have solved it in one go. Then, why can't Jaeon Myung-hoon, with even greater talent, resolve the heavenly rejection? Physically, Jaeon Myung-hoon might be superior, but it seems Seo Eun-yeon is a genius who vastly outshines him in terms of intelligence and mental capacity. Jin Baek-ho was overjoyed when both the lightning sacred body and the heavenly golden thunder body entered the sect. But as Jaeon Myung-hoon continued to cause trouble, he also had this thought. If only Seo Eun-yeon had been born with those qualities. It's a regrettable thought. Then, it would have truly been the reincarnation of our founder, such a pity. Jin Baek-ho clicks his tongue internally. First, call Elder Seo to the Golden Thunder Hall. Let's hear from Elder Seo himself how he overcame the heavenly rejection phenomenon. He decides to summon Seo Eun-yeon to find out how he overcame the heavenly rejection. It just worked when I tried. I speak with a calm expression in front of Jin Baek-ho. So, can you explain exactly how it just worked? Jin Baek-ho asks me, his expression showing he is at his wit's end. However, I can't honestly answer him. Saying that I faced heavenly tribulation in advance and stored it to release later would sound too suspicious, wouldn't it? I can't just tell someone to take someone else's heavenly tribulation for them. If Jaeon Myung-hoon takes someone else's heavenly tribulation once, the tribulation will only get stronger. Unless Jaeon Myung-hoon plans to stay by that person's side for their entire life, taking their tribulation for them, such a method will only hasten their demise. So, what should I say? I could offer to tear off Jaeon Myung-hoon's arm and then modify it for him if I were the Mad Lord. If I attach General Seo's face to Jaeon Myung-hoon's arm to launch the Seo General Cannon, the heavenly rejection phenomenon will be resolved immediately. But the problem is, doing so will immediately make Jin Baek-ho, who has had many grievances against the Mad Lord, distrust me. Using a puppet through the Mad Lord's method won't work, and it would be too much for him to learn more potent spells or even attempt to learn techniques from the Azure Heaven Creation Sector Demon Beast methods. Without perseverance, it will take decades. Martial arts are even less likely. Reaching the peak or 3 flowers gather at the summit isn't something achieved through child's play. The 5 energies converging to the origin and ultimate pinnacle or even more so. I guarantee it will take 400 years to get Jaeon Myung-hoon to reach the ultimate pinnacle. Being someone who had reached the position of a Grand Master in martial arts, I can confidently say that. He has no talent for martial arts. Then, how can I provide an answer that will satisfy Jin Baek-ho? What would my master have done? I think of my master. If Cheongman Ryong were in this situation, how would he have helped his disciple? As I ponder, it strikes me that we are in the middle realm. Right, there's much more heaven and earth spiritual energy in the bright cold realm. Perhaps that approach might work. Quote. The method I used might not be helpful to Jaeon Myung-hoon. It's my place to judge that. Just tell me. However, I think there might be a method that can help Jaeon Myung-hoon. I share my idea with Jin Baek-ho. Upon hearing my explanation, not only Jin Baek-ho but also the gathered senior members' eyes light up with hope. Indeed, if it's that method. Crackle, zap, Jaeon Myung-hoon gathers a surge of lightning energy with the accumulating lightning technique. Damn it, he exclaims in frustration. Why can't I complete the 7 stars ritual? As he shouts in anger, the lightning energy pulsating around him boils over, growing even stronger. Shut up, it's when he is screaming out loud. Shouting won't change anything, just calmly think it over. A clear voice approaches Jaeon Myung-hoon. The woman adorned in a golden palace robe is Jin So-hae. The seniors are working tirelessly day and night to find a way to overcome the heavenly rejection. You shouldn't just sit around. Try to find a solution too. Jaeon Myung-hoon twitches his eyebrows. Quote. I am trying to find a way. But what exactly should I do? Magic artifacts don't work, and if my master clears the clouds, the ritual ends. No matter what, I just can't seem to have the ability to clear the clouds no matter what I do. Tisk, it's about your attitude. Honestly, you claim you're trying to find a solution when you always sleep when it's time to sleep and rest when it's time for rest. It's true, Jaeon Myung-hoon slept at night in designated rest times, always taking a few hours to rest comfortably. However, Jaeon Myung-hoon doesn't understand Jin So-hae's point. Of course people sleep when it's time to sleep. What are you talking about? If you've chosen the path of a cultivator, it's better to minimize sleep time. Among the elders, there are those who haven't slept for decades, focusing solely on closed-door cultivation. Quote. Sigh, Jaeon Myung-hoon was about to say, those elders are not human but monsters to be able to do that, but he holds back. If she wasn't pretty, I would have told her off a long time ago. Honestly, Jin So-hae's face is precisely Jaeon Myung-hoon's type, so he can't help it. So, what do you want me to do? Ah, that's exactly why I came to talk to you. There's a friend who wants to help you. A friend who wants to help me. At that moment, a long, black shadow surges up above Jaeon Myung-hoon. Eek! Jaeon Myung-hoon shivers at its appearance. No matter how many times he sees it, he can't get used to it. It's the giant centipede demon beast, Hong Fan. One of the elders, demon beasts. Recently, we've become close. Hello, we have met before, haven't we? Ah, hello, sorry for screaming just now. Jaeon Myung-hoon awkwardly greets the centipede. No problem, it's understandable. I apologize for startling you. If I reach the nascent soul stage and achieve a transformation sooner, it wouldn't have been an issue. Polite words from Hong Fan makes Jaeon Myung-hoon shake his head. No, I'm the one who should apologize. But, you're not stuttering anymore. I've learned a lot about language from Jin So-hae. Recently, I've been learning to speak human language with my vocal cords instead of mental speech. Wow, impressive. Truly the demon beast of a nascent soul stage elder. Hee, my master also helps me with my practice whenever there's a chance and kindly explains things I don't understand. Truly a great elder. Jaeon Myung-hoon nods and asks. So, you're the one who wants to help me? Yes, that's right. My master sometimes explains the principles of yin and yang when discussing the lightning path methods. Hearing those explanations made me think of Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon's recent troubles, prompting me to ask Miss Jin So-hae for help in offering my assistance. Wow, how exactly will you help? I plan to assist you in understanding the accumulating lightning technique you're currently learning. Quote. What? You know the accumulating lightning technique? Jaeon Myung-hoon asks, not understanding the centipede's words. However, Hong Fan calmly explains. My master is an enlightened sage of understanding before breakthrough. After hearing the explanation of the accumulating lightning technique from master, I thought if Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon could fully unleash the power of the accumulating lightning technique, he might also overcome the heavenly rejection. I know about understanding before breakthrough well enough, but does it really have that much power? Of course, why not listen first and then decide? As Jaeon Myung-hoon listens to Hong Fan's lecture on understanding before breakthrough, Jaeon Myung-hoon's eyes light up. Indeed, incredible. Things I didn't understand are now clear. You explain incredibly well. I've merely learned well from my master. Even so, your specialty isn't the accumulating lightning technique but the demon beast methods. Such an explanation is impressive. Jaeon Myung-hoon praises Hong Fan, and at the same time, deep respect for Hong Fan's master, the nascent soul stage elder, burgeons within him. So, the master of understanding before breakthrough in the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect nurtures even their demon beast to be well versed in the fundamentals of cultivation methods. If Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon wishes, I can arrange for you to directly learn the principles of understanding before breakthrough from my master. However, Jaeon Myung-hoon hesitates and glances covertly at Jin So-hae. Jin So-hae speaks in front of Hong Fan. Sorry, Hong Fan, but it's not recommended in our sect to learn something from a master other than your own. It's allowed to learn from someone close like dual cultivation partners, but if it's a completely different master, it can be seen as disloyalty to your own master. Especially since your master is an elder and Jaeon Myung-hoon's master is Jin Chan, it's an even more sensitive issue because he's a grand elder. Ah, I see, I've spoken out of turn. However, would it still be acceptable if I, a demon beast, convey my master's words to help Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon? That might be okay. There's no regulation against demon beasts. At those words, Hong Fan looks at Jaeon Myung-hoon and says, understood. Then, I'll convey my master's teachings to Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon on my master's behalf. Jaeon Myung-hoon asks Hong Fan. But why are you being so nice to me? Well, my master always worries about Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon. Master says that for the sect to be stable, Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon must grow as the owner of the heavenly golden thunder body. As my master's servant, helping you is my way of serving my master. Such. Jaeon Myung-hoon looks at Hong Fan with moved eyes. He is touched by Hong Fan, and he comes to deeply respect Hong Fan's master, the nascent soul stage elder. Only those who care so much for their juniors deserve to hold the position of an elder in the sect. Tell me the name of that elder. No, wait. Never mind. I'll personally seek them out and pay my respects after I've reached a higher realm. There's no need to tell me before then. Yes, if you wish so. Then, does this mean you will listen to my lectures on understanding before breakthrough? Yes, I'm counting on you, Hong Fan. Jaeon Myung-hoon kneels before Hong Fan, asking for guidance. There is no shame in kneeling before a demon beast. Hong Fan's cultivation is at the chi building stage, definitely a demon beast that has walked the path of cultivation longer than him. Its master, a nascent soul stage elder, is undoubtedly a respected figure. I will definitely learn the theory of understanding before breakthrough from Hong Fan and awaken the true power of the accumulating lightning technique. And then, he will definitely complete the 7 stars ritual, making it clear to his master and the senior members of the sect who look down on him that he is the victor. And so, 10 years pass. Heavens above. Jaeon Myung-hoon grits his teeth as he looks at the dark clouds. Crack, crackle, the lightning power of the accumulating lightning technique is surging around him. Thick lightning flickers around Jaeon Myung-hoon, tinted red. The reddening of the lightning is a characteristic that appears only when the accumulating lightning technique is fully mastered. Over the past 10 years, Jaeon Myung-hoon had practiced the accumulating lightning technique through the method of understanding before breakthrough to the point where he can dismantle and analyze the beginning and end of the technique. However, why can't I still surpass the chi refining 7th star? Heavens above, heavens above, heavens above. Jaeon Myung-hoon's eyes are bloodshot as he grinds his teeth. Kururum. At the chi refining 6th star, he awakened the essence of the accumulating lightning technique with Hong Fan's help. Red lightning soars towards the sky, reaching the clouds. But that is all. With the power level of chi refining 6th star, even awakening the essence of the accumulating lightning technique is insufficient. The red lightning merely grazes the edge of the dark clouds before dissipating. Though it is a powerful force at the chi refining 6th star, it is still difficult to penetrate the clouds that block the heavens. Why can't I still not even pierce through the 7 stars? Beside Jaeon Myung-hoon, Jin So-hae, Hong Fan, and a few others from the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect who have grown close to Jaeon Myung-hoon look at him with pity. Jaeon Myung-hoon's struggle to overcome the heavenly rejection for 10 years is well known within the sect. And over those 10 years, at some point, Jin Chan stopped appearing whether Jaeon Myung-hoon performed the 7 stars ritual or not. The senior members seem to no longer care about Jaeon Myung-hoon. Only a few friends continue to support Jaeon Myung-hoon by his side. Jaeon Myung-hoon felt betrayed by everyone except for a few friends like Jin So-hae and Hong Fan. When they thought I was useful, they treated me well, but now that I seem useless, they discard me like a worn-out rag. Rumor has it that recently, many senior members gathered at Seo Eun-yun's cave residence to do something with him. Feelings of inferiority towards Seo Eun-yun, betrayal by the sect, anger, and frustration intertwined, forming a knot in Jaeon Myung-hoon's heart. The stronger the anger, the more the accumulating lightning technique responds. But lately, Jaeon Myung-hoon feels as if the accumulating lightning technique is changing somehow. This technique reacts to emotions. Perhaps, if there's even greater anger. He has a slight feeling that the technique itself can evolve. Yes, that must be it. Jeon Myung-hoon waits for that moment. If I succeed in evolving the technique, I can break through the 7 stars ritual. He believes that if he can break through the 7 stars ritual, the path ahead will be smooth. I'll quickly elevate my realm, and get revenge on everyone who ignored me. Crack, he clenches his teeth, looking up at the sky. It's been 10 years already. Hong Soo Ryong enters my cave residence and speaks while drinking tea. I thought the same thing 10 years ago, but you seem a bit of a madman. I snort at Hong Soo Ryong's words. Not something I want to hear from Senior Hong, who captures new recruits for human experiments. I didn't mean it in a bad way. Just that your abilities are abnormally outstanding beyond standard measures. She crosses her arms, watching the swirling storm of countless lightning around me. When you said you would master all 9,562 lightning path methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect within 10 years, I thought you were insane, but to actually do it within 10 years, mastering even the least accomplished ones to over 3 stars, you're truly remarkable. Thank you for the compliment. And, to take the initiative and carry out plans for Jeon Myung-hoon. Do you know what the Supreme Sect Master says about you? What does he say? He asks why I was made your dual cultivation partner. He said he should have forced his own granddaughter to be your partner, even if by coercion. He's shedding tears of regret now. Kukik, she chuckles. I also laugh softly. Even if he said that, it seems Jin So-hye has already become deeply attached to Jeon Myung-hoon after spending 10 years with him in this way and that. Honestly, I don't know why Jin So-hye likes Jeon Myung-hoon. But she does like him. Really, it's a mystery. Maybe it's fate for her to fall in love with Jeon Myung-hoon. Is that why you came to see me? Of course not. I came because you succeeded in mastering all 9,562 lightning path methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. Quote. It's been a rumor among the Grand Elders, but all the past Supreme Sect Masters of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect have shared this secret. I have a hunch about what she is about to say. All the methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect are incomplete. The sect's methods complement each other. They were all created to emulate the heavenly golden thunder body of the founder. Because of these facts, there have always been rumors among the Grand Elders. She looks at me and says, perhaps, the sect's methods are not incomplete but, originally a complete method, that was divided into over 9,000 pieces. There's a rumor that mastering the complete method will grant one the same heavenly golden thunder body as the founder. Hong Soo Ryong's gaze becomes serious. The past Supreme Sect Masters seem to know something about these rumors but never shared the facts. Now that you've mastered all the methods, do you think the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect's methods were originally one that was split apart? Quote. That is, Jeon Myung-hoon is also practicing his technique this day. Then suddenly, boom, a dull thunderclap flashes above him as someone appears. Ah, Master. Jeon Myung-hoon sees Jin Chan and pays his respects. What brings you here? What brings me here? I've come to see your progress. As a master, it's only natural to observe the achievements of my disciple. I've heard that you've awakened the essence of the accumulating lightning technique. Show it to me. Yes, understood. He speaks as if he's always been concerned. Annoying. Despite being internally irritated with Jin Chan, Jeon Myung-hoon respectfully demonstrates the accumulating lightning technique. Crackle. Red lightning surges around him. Jin Chan nods at Jeon Myung-hoon's achievement. Good. You've indeed reached the pinnacle of the basic method, the accumulating lightning technique. Yes, that's correct. As a disciple who has worked day and night. By the way, Myung-hoon, even though you've reached the pinnacle of the accumulating lightning technique at the Chi refining 6th star, after a council among the Grand Elders, we've reached a conclusion about you. Yes. What is it? Jeon Myung-hoon feels a sense of foreboding from Jin Chan's grim expression. We've concluded that having the heavenly golden thunder body is utterly useless to you. Therefore, we've decided to grind your body into a pill and transfer the heavenly golden thunder body's spiritual root to someone else. Quote. Question mark. Quote. Jeon Myung-hoon's brain freezes, unable to comprehend the statement. Excuse me, what do you mean? There's no need to understand. Kurururung. Jin Chan extends his hand towards Jeon Myung-hoon with a cold smile. Come here, I've already requested for a skilled alchemist from the Devil Path Alliance's pill refining clan, the Mockley clan. Chapter 232, Black Snake 10. Jaeon Myung-hoon can't comprehend the current situation is all. Why? He merely asks dumbfoundedly into the air. Me, an elixir. He has heard that when making elixirs, the vitality of a living being is extracted to accumulate medicinal properties with life force. He has also heard that humans are used when making elixirs such as chi-building pills by Jin So-hee. Of course, to enter the sect and have been chosen to be taken along during ascension, it would be impossible unless one's qualities are outstanding enough to reach the level of chi-building without chi-building pills, so there aren't many who have actually taken such pills. He remembers Jin So-hee saying that there will hardly be any need to see such elixirs as chi-building pills in the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, as there are numerous heavenly spiritual roots. Jaeon Myung-hoon himself thought that he would never consume barbaric pills made from humans. But me, an elixir. Jaeon Myung-hoon looks around. Inside the Thunder Prison where he has been captured by his master, Jin Chan. In 13 hours from now, once the master alchemist has aged all the auxiliary ingredients, the process of refining you into a heavenly golden thunder pill will begin. Be mentally prepared by then. Jaeon Myung-hoon still fails to come to his senses after Jin Chan's last words. Am I going to die here like this? After only living like a dog for 10 years? He feels wronged, angry, but above all, scared. Fuck, am I really going to die like this? For real? Jaeon Myung-hoon clenches his head with a stiff expression inside the Thunder Prison. His hair, which he has grown for a little over 10 years, slips through his grasp. Damn it, why does it have to be like this? Just when he is in despair. Kududugak, the wall behind Jaeon Myung-hoon. A part of it suddenly starts to fall away. At the same time, Jin So-hee appears from inside. Quote exclamation mark. So-hee. Jaeon Myung-hoon is shocked and gets up from his spot. Jin So-hee frowns and puts her finger to her lips. Shish. Be quiet. I made it here dodging the guard's eyes. Come this way quietly. Jaeon Myung-hoon swallows his saliva. Even a fool can tell. This is his only chance now that Jin So-hee has come. He quietly moves towards Jin So-hee. So-hee, me, save me. I came to save you. Please, just be quiet. Come this way. Soon, the inside of the Thunder Prison where Jaeon Myung-hoon was confined becomes completely empty. Then, Jin Chan walks into the now empty Thunder Prison. So-hee will handle it well. Behind him, Hong Soo Ryong walks out and says, now, Grand Elder Jin should start the next plan. Understood. Grand Elder Hong, make sure to disable the sect's grand formation on time, and if the kid manages to escape, activate the array. Of course. Jin Chan nods and glances at the stone wall Jaeon Myung-hoon had exited through before stepping outside the Thunder Prison. Before leaving the Thunder Prison, he glances at Hong Soo Ryong and asks. By the way, Grand Elder Hong seems to be in poor health recently. Anything wrong? I've come to know a rather interesting fact. An interesting fact, you say? I've heard rumors lately that there's no dual cultivation between Grand Elder Hong and Elder Seo. Could it be that there's a problem with Elder Seo's lower dantian? Shut your mouth before I cut off your lower dantian. At Hong Soo Ryong's fierce remark, Jin Chan coughs awkwardly and quickly leaves the Thunder Prison. Inside the Thunder Prison, Hong Soo Ryong looks into the void for a moment before letting out a hollow laugh. To the ancestor of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, what exactly were your descendants? So-hee, really, thank you. Truly. Having completely escaped the Thunder Prison building, Jaeon Myung-hoon wipes off his cold sweat and thanks Jin So-hee gratefully. Jin So-hee sighs softly. Enough. Right now, all the elders and grand elders are in a meeting with the master alchemist. It seems like the elixir they are making is an extraordinary one that even the supreme sect master must attend along with the grand elders. Thanks to that, there's about an hour's gap when the elders and grand elders won't be around. She leads Jaeon Myung-hoon to where the flying magic artifacts are gathered. The departure peak of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect is a place where flying magic artifacts in the shape of ships are anchored in abundance. She infuses her spiritual power into one of the flying magic artifacts, a small vessel type that can carry 500 disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect at once. Get on. It's a magic artifact for long-distance travel. Thanks to the flying escape technique cast on the artifact itself, it can traverse thousands of li without difficulty. Take this and leave Thunder Spirit Island. Quote. Thank you, but aren't you coming with me? I'll stay behind and lie to the Supreme Sect Master that you are hiding near the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. That should buy us some time. Jaeon Myung-hoon looks at Jin So-hee and asks. So-hee, why are you doing all this for me? Quote. You don't need to know. Hurry up and get on. Jin So-hee, with an annoyed expression, loads Jaeon Myung-hoon onto the ship artifact. Being in the early core formation stage, Jin So-hee forcibly loads Jaeon Myung-hoon, who is unable to resist. Wait, I don't know how to pilot this. It's when Jaeon Myung-hoon is worried. TSTSSTSST. A giant shadow surges up from behind Jaeon Myung-hoon. You are Hong Fan. It's the giant black centipede, Hong Fan. Kugugugu. Jaeon Myung-hoon is astonished by the spiritual energy wave and consciousness emanating from Hong Fan. Wait, have you already reached the core formation stage? It's only the early stages of core formation, just like Miss Jin So-hee. If Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon hadn't experienced heavenly rejection during your 7 stars ritual, you would have surely surpassed me. Quote. You really have tremendous talent, but why are you here? I've come to pilot the ship in your stead. You know how to pilot a flying magic artifact. How? My master taught me how to pilot the ship. Wow. Jaeon Myung-hoon is about to exclaim but then suddenly has a doubt. Wait, if you're the pet demon beast of an elder, aren't you bound to your master? Moving with me would. He looks at Hong Fan with suspicion, and Hong Fan begins to explain calmly. My master supports Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon's escape. From the start, someone with a talent like the heavenly golden thunder body isn't someone who should become an elixir just because they faced a bit of heavenly rejection. Not just my master but also several grand elders and elders of the golden divine heavenly thunder sect share this view. What? You don't have to run away forever. If Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon evades capture for just a few weeks, after that, the grand elders and elders who support you will come to rescue you. Hearing Hong Fan's explanation, Jaeon Myung-hoon finally lets go of his suspicions. Sorry for doubting. And, thank you too. It was just the elders' order. Hong Fan speaks, reducing his size. Hong Fan's large body shrinks, grabbing the helm of the ship Jaeon Myung-hoon is on. Then, Jaeon Myung-hoon. Jin So-hee, with her arms crossed, looks at Jaeon Myung-hoon and says. Let's see each other in good health later. Thank you, So-hee. He bites his lip. I'm ashamed of myself. He had always treated Jin So-hee as a target to conquer, or a potential dual cultivation partner, and flirted around. And whenever he had a chance, he would shift his attention to other female disciples of the sect. But at this moment, Jaeon Myung-hoon makes a promise to himself. If I safely escape from the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, and if I safely return here again, I will only look at Jin So-hee. With Hong Fan's control, the flying magic artifact soars into the sky. Under the night sky of the bright cold realm, filled with countless stars. The ship Jaeon Myung-hoon is on smoothly passes through the sect's grand formation and flies away. Jaeon Myung-hoon looks back at the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect and thinks. I will definitely return, as Jin So-hee watches Jaeon Myung-hoon waving his hand as he leaves. A sigh escapes her lips. Ha, that fool. Even though they have become quite close over the last 10 years, Jin So-hee does not see Jaeon Myung-hoon in a romantic way at all. She only sees him as a brother she needs to look after, one a bit lacking in brains from her perspective. Isn't it strange that the sect's grand formation didn't activate even as he left on the ship? Tisk. She clicks her tongue while looking at Jaeon Myung-hoon's ship, now far away. And next to her, a man in white descends. Don't be too hard on him, miss. Oh, Elder Seo. She blushes, looking at Elder Seo Eun-yun, who has approached her. Grand Elder Hong is really lucky. Not stuck with someone like Jaeon Myung-hoon but being Dao companions with Elder Seo Eun-yun smiles briefly at where Jaeon Myung-hoon has disappeared. Now that Jaeon Myung-hoon has left, shall we activate the grand formation? Yes, I'll go inform my great-grandfather. Jin So-hee uses the flying escape technique to fly to where Jin Baek-ho is staying, in the Golden Thunder Hall, and Seo Eun-yun stands on the departure peak, smiling faintly. You're really lucky, Jaeon Myung-hoon. Whoosh. Jaeon Myung-hoon sighs as he looks at the night sky. Damn it, everything seemed perfect, but everything went awry in just a short 10 years. Even if he cried out to the heavens for 10 years, the heavens did not permit him. His expectations of becoming dual cultivation partners with Jin So-hee was cruelly shattered, and the elders of the sect gradually turned their attention away from Jaeon Myung-hoon, seeing that he could not overcome the heavenly rejection. In particular, the infamous incident where Jin Baek-ho, known for his explosive temper, came to insult him is a well-known story. Seo Eun-yun managed to break through heavenly rejection as soon as he extended his hand, but why can't you? Why can't you? You are the heavenly golden thunder body. It's absurd that you can't do what Seo Eun-yun can. Unless you're unimaginably dull, you should be able to do it. Heyo GWAK, Cheonmin Sunwoo and I could use chi building stage techniques even when we were at chi refining. Seo Eun-yun could also do it, so why can't you? Damn it, to waste time on such a fool. What a waste of time. Especially being directly compared with Seo Eun-yun, who he has always looked down upon, and being subjected to such rage is one of the worst memories he has in the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. Damn it. Thinking back on the incident with Jin Baek-ho, Jaeon Myung-hoon feels as if the little affection he has for the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect is crumbling away. Quote. Really, if it weren't for you, Jin So-hae, and a few friends, I would have left the sect long ago. Why would I suffer trouble for staying unnecessarily? Thinking about it, starting from the Supreme Sect Master, they've only ever expressed anger and disappointment towards me. Jaeon Myung-hoon speaks as he looks at Hong Fan, who had shrunk to the size of a human torso and is operating the helm of the ship. Hong Fan calmly replies, there's a saying that the opposite of love is not anger or hatred, but indifference. The anger shown to Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon might be proof that the elders don't want to let go of you. HMPH, funny. Even that anger was initially depressed in abundance but eventually subsided when things didn't work out, didn't they? Look, even my master didn't come to see me for a long while until he decided to make me into an elixir and finally came to lock me up in the Thunder Prison. When have they ever? Kururum. It's when Jaeon Myung-hoon is venting his anger to Hong Fan. An immense clapping of thunder rumbles, and a massive storm of lightning energy surges from behind Jaeon Myung-hoon. Jaeon Myung-hoon is startled and looks back. Something like a ghastly lightning is chasing the ship they are on, trailing along the clouds. Ho Hong Fan, I will ascend. Hold on tight. Boong. Hong Fan maneuvers the helm, and the ship they are on begins to rise. Whoosh. The ship artifact carrying Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan pierces through the clouds above. And, whatever is chasing them also rises into the sky. Goo. Master. It's the giant figure of Jin Chan. Kwajijijik. A giant body formed from ghastly lightning reveals itself. It looks like a storm of lightning has transformed into the shape of a giant. Ho, Hong Fan, my master is chasing us. Do not worry, I do not sense the power of the heavenly being stage. It seems like a consciousness separation using externalizing spirit. At most, it's the power of a remnant soul of the heavenly being stage. Heavenly being stage remnant soul, how powerful is that? Can you handle it? Well, normally, the remnant soul of a heavenly being stage cultivator is around the late core formation to grand perfection stage. Hong Fan says calmly, of course, if I were to face it, I'd end up as fried Hong Fan. At the same time, the lightning giant in the form of Jin Chan extends its finger towards the ship. Goo. An immense power of lightning gathers and shoots towards the ship. Kururum. The clouds are torn apart, and a storm rages across the area. Jaeon Myung-hoon screams, holding on to the ship's railing. Quickly run away, please. Yes. Boong. At the same time, the speed of the ship also increases. However, Jin Chan's externalized spirit continues to chase them at a rapid pace. Rumble. Kurring, kururum. Jaeon Myung-hoon is terrified and trembling, holding onto the railing as lightning strikes aim at them. Amidst that, a part of the lightning strike falls towards Jaeon Myung-hoon. Jaeon Myung-hoon looks at the incoming lightning bolt and screams. Save ha, Pazik, Pozijik. Surprisingly not feeling any pain, Jaeon Myung-hoon looks puzzled. The streak of lightning is naturally absorbed into Jaeon Myung-hoon's body, and he exclaims as he sees the lightning bolt inside him transform into spiritual power. Whoa this. Watching him, Hong Fan speaks. Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon, you may be immune to lightning, but this ship is not. If a situation like before occurs again, it will be troublesome, so please go to the rear and block the attacks from the externalized spirit. Got it. Realizing that small lightning strikes don't have much effect, confidence surges in Jaeon Myung-hoon's face. He runs to the rear and raises his accumulating lightning technique. At the same time, Jaeon Myung-hoon also stirs up the anger in his chest. Pozijijik. Red lightning surges around Jaeon Myung-hoon. As he forms a hand sign, the red lightning streak collides with the remnants of lightning bolts flying towards the ship. The remnants of small lightning strikes shot by Jin Chan's externalized spirit are all neutralized by Jaeon Myung-hoon's accumulating lightning technique and begin to dissipate. However, even though they are just remnants of lightning shot by the externalized spirit has the power of the core formation grand perfection, and Jaeon Myung-hoon is merely at the chi refining 6th star. Kwajijijik. In an instant, Jaeon Myung-hoon's spiritual power is depleted. However, Jaeon Myung-hoon grits his teeth and extends his hand. Come, Kwajijijik. One of the lightning strikes shot by the externalized spirit hits the ship directly. However, the ship is unharmed. Jaeon Myung-hoon extended his hand. Inside his hand, all the lightning streaks are being absorbed. Kwajijijik. In an instant, Jaeon Myung-hoon's spiritual power surges again, and he continuously emits endless red lightning bolts. Kururum. As if annoyed by Jaeon Myung-hoon blocking his attacks, Jin Chan's externalized spirit starts chasing them even faster. Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon, I will increase our speed. You must not disengage the accumulating lightning technique even for a moment from now on. Yes, Pete. Enveloped in a halo, Jaeon Myung-hoon begins to move forward amidst an immense radiance. Damn, I feel nauseous. But, following Hong Fan's advice, Jaeon Myung-hoon never releases the accumulating lightning technique. After all, Jin Chan is growing even closer. The giant face of the lightning giant is only 33 feet away from the rear of the ship, shooting lightning at them. Kwajijijik. Jaeon Myung-hoon continuously absorbs the lightning and releases it. It looks as though red lightning is bursting from the rear of the swiftly moving ship. Damn it, leave your disciple alone. Hong Fan, how much longer do we have to do this? We will soon reach the barrier of Thunder Spirit Island. Once we cross the barrier, even the externalized spirit will have a hard time following us. Okay, Kwajijijik. Jaeon Myung-hoon feels like he is going to vomit from maintaining the accumulating lightning technique, but he clenches his teeth and endures. Finally, Jaeon Myung-hoon finally sees that the ship has reached the edge of Thunder Spirit Island and his eyes light up. Now, they just need to cross the barrier and it will be over. Just hold on a little longer. Alright, just then, Kurururum. At the edge of Thunder Spirit Island where Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan are heading, another giant made of lightning appears. How dare you try to leave? It's the form of Vice Sect Leader Jinhee. You dare to flee and leave the sect. Kurururum. An immense level of lightning strikes the ship, drenching Jaeon Myung-hoon. Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon. Hong Fan's urgent voice is heard, and Jaeon Myung-hoon faces the lightning coming at him. My body feels like it's going to explode. Jaeon Myung-hoon's body converts the absorbed lightning into power, but there is a limit in doing so. If he infuses more lightning than his limit, his spiritual power can overflow and explode. Now, Jaeon Myung-hoon feels like his dantian is about to burst. To die like this. That's when it happens. Hong Fan's voice rings in Jaeon Myung-hoon's mind. Release it. You must indiscriminately release your power while using the accumulating lightning technique. Quote! Jaeon Myung-hoon clenches his teeth and follows Hong Fan's instruction. Simultaneously, red lightning bursts forth from Jaeon Myung-hoon's entire body. In an instant, a giant lightning bolt erupts from Jaeon Myung-hoon's body. The area is enveloped in red lightning, and from there, the ship carrying Hong Fan and Jaeon Myung-hoon emerges. Keep using the accumulating lightning technique. You can't stop. Jin Chan is still chasing you. Yes. Jaeon Myung-hoon responds with a face as if his soul is about to leave his body. He shakily aims the red lightning of the accumulating lightning technique towards Jin Chan, who is chasing from behind. There are 4 weak points in the barrier of Thunder Spirit Island, 1 in each direction of east, west, south, and north. We must escape through one of these. Since we just encountered Sir Jinhee in the east and were blocked, this time we will head towards the northern end to escape Thunder Spirit Island. We'll go faster, so please hang in there a bit longer. Yes. Rumble. At the eastern end of Thunder Spirit Island, where Jaeon Myung-hoon just escaped from. There, the red lightning released by Jaeon Myung-hoon does not disappear but remains in abundance. It looks as if someone has intentionally captured those lightning bolts. Above the lightning, Jinhee's externalized spirit forms hand signs. Horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, and winnowing basket. Kugugugu. Simultaneously, the lightning released by Jaeon Myung-hoon turns into a red pillar and strikes down at the eastern end of Thunder Spirit Island. From the red pillar struck at the eastern end, a faint red path rises toward the north, where Jaeon Myung-hoon is flying towards using the accumulating lightning technique. Northern End. You, Jaeon Myung-hoon. How dare you attempt to flee and abandon the sect? Damn it, weren't you the ones trying to turn me into an elixir? Jaeon Myung-hoon yells at the Grand Elder blocking him at the northern end. Kurururung. Once again, a tremendous bolt of lightning strikes Jaeon Myung-hoon, frying him. Even if the sect decides to do so, you must accept it. Nonsense. Kwajijijik. Jaeon Myung-hoon absorbs the lightning shot at him until his stomach is about to burst and then releases it using the accumulating lightning technique, following Hong Fan's advice. Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon, since the northern end is also blocked, we will head to the western end. Alright, Hong Fan maneuvers the ship carrying Jaeon Myung-hoon to move again. The externalized spirit of the Grand Elder that appeared at the northern end again gathers the red lightning bolts released by Jaeon Myung-hoon to form a red pillar. Kung, a red pillar forms at the northern end of Thunder Spirit Island and strikes the ground. Simultaneously, the red path that started from the eastern end arrives. Ladle, ox, girl, emptiness, rooftop, chamber, wall. As the Grand Elder guarding the northern end chants, the red path that arrived from the eastern end connects with the pillar at the northern end. As the Grand Elder extends his hand, an even more intense red path extends out, paving the way towards Jaeon Myung-hoon who has fled using the accumulating lightning technique. The western end is the same. Damn it, Hong Fan, the east, north, and west are all blocked. Jaeon Myung-hoon curses and yells at Hong Fan after releasing lightning towards the Grand Elder guarding the western end with the accumulating lightning technique. My apologies, let's try heading south, just to the south. Don't give me that crap. It's obvious that it's probably blocked there too. We need to think of another way to escape. Kurururung. It's when Jaeon Myung-hoon shows signs of heading elsewhere. Jin Chan begins to indiscriminately shoot spells of different attributes at Jaeon Myung-hoon, not just lightning techniques. Jaeon Myung-hoon shouts in alarm. For now, just go somewhere, anywhere. The ship Hong Fan is controlling begins heading south. Jin Chan, chasing them, nods at the Grand Elder guarding the west. Boong. The red path that started from the north reaches the west. Legs, bond, stomach, hairy head, net, beak, triple star. Kugugugu. A red pillar emerges at the western end and strikes the ground. From the pillar at the western end, a beam of red light unlike any before chases after Jaeon Myung-hoon. Look here, Hong Fan. Yes, Sir Jaeon Myung-hoon. Over there, besides Master's avatar, I think something else is chasing us. Jaeon Myung-hoon asks with a foreboding feeling, looking at Hong Fan. Right behind the ship they are on, Jin Chan's externalized spirit is pursuing them. Further behind Jin Chan, a path, like red line is being created, pursuing the ship carrying Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan. Hong Fan glances back. It's a dragon vein. No need to worry. Using spells that manipulate dragon veins require a considerable amount of preparation time. Unless it's a 4-axis stage cultivator who is highly skilled in handling dragon veins, it's impossible to do something with the dragon vein in a short period time. But that dragon vein is chasing me. What's going on? That I am not sure. Damn it, I'm going to end up being turned into an elixir. Do something. Jaeon Myung-hoon curses out of fear, and Hong Fan calmly continues to steer the ship. Finally, the ship carrying Jaeon Myung-hoon and Hong Fan reaches the southern end of Thunder Spirit Island. And Jaeon Myung-hoon's face falls into despair. Southern end. There, his master, Jin Chan, is waiting. Myung-hoon, where are you going in such a hurry? Before Jaeon Myung-hoon can respond, a massive lightning bolt strikes him. Kurururung. It's like a pillar of light. Jaeon Myung-hoon absorbs the lightning to the point of bursting within the pillar of light and barely manages to endure it by releasing it through the accumulating lightning technique. Why are you trying to flee the sect? Because veins pop in Jaeon Myung-hoon's eyes. After repeating the cycle of consuming lightning and transforming it into power, Jaeon Myung-hoon took on the form of a spirit of red lightning. I don't want to die. Kurururung. Jaeon Myung-hoon's red lightning repels Jin Chan's lightning. Jin Chan reaches out towards Jaeon Myung-hoon's red lightning. The lightning released by Jaeon Myung-hoon gathers into Jin Chan's hand from the void. Jin Chan sculpts the lightning into a pillar and asks, "If I wasn't trying to kill you, would you have stayed in the sect?" There seems to be a hint of remorse on Jin Chan's face, but Jaeon Myung-hoon, whose eyes are rolling back in rage, shouts loudly. Of course, I would escape this dogshit sect right away. For the past 10 years. Haven't I been ignored, despised, and treated like a fool here? Even if you weren't trying to kill me, I wouldn't want to set foot in such a place. Kwajijijik. Jaeon Myung-hoon curses, spewing out red lightning. No more. Kurururung. Simultaneously, the red dragon vein path following Jaeon Myung-hoon finally reaches underneath Jin Jin Chan. Jin Jin Chan plants the red pillar into the ground. Well, ghost, willow, star, extended net, wing, and chariot. Kugugugu. Jaeon Myung-hoon shudders. The atmosphere of Thunder Spirit Island changes. All around Thunder Spirit Island, red light begins to bloom in various places. Hong Fan, return to the sect. Yes. Upon Jin Jin Chan's command, Hong Fan turns the ship. Jaeon Myung-hoon is startled by how natural the movement is. Wah, wait, what are you doing, Hong Fan? Boong. Hong Fan silently steers the ship, and in an instant, Jin Jin Chan lands beside Jaeon Myung-hoon at the speed of lightning. Jaeon. Myung-hoon's pupils shake. Master. Myung-hoon ah. And Jin Jin Chan grasps Jaeon Myung-hoon's shoulder. I'm sorry for everything up until now. Yes. Kugugugu. Beneath the ground, the red dragon vein boiled up. But it's not just any dragon vein. It's lightning. More precisely, lightning that is all too familiar to Jaeon Myung-hoon. It's the lightning of the accumulating lightning technique that Jaeon Myung-hoon himself had released. How did this happen? As if recognizing the power he had unleashed himself, Jaeon Myung-hoon is plunged into confusion. It seems as though the entire Thunder Spirit Island is boiling with Jaeon Myung-hoon's power. Jin Jin Chan, seeming apologetic, scratches his cheek and says, "For the past 10 years, we've been conducting construction work throughout Thunder Spirit Island." He begins to explain, "I sit at the departure peak, waiting for Jaeon Myung-hoon to return." Hong Su Ryong manipulates the sect's grand formation, gathering Jaeon Myung-hoon's scattered lightning across Thunder Spirit Island to the main peak of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. At the summit of Thunder Cloud Peak, Jin Baek-ho personally assists in the ritual. During the ritual, the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect becomes, for a moment, a gigantic altar. You're quite blessed, aren't you, Jaeon Myung-hoon? From the Supreme Sect Master down, all the senior brothers, senior sisters, and disciples spent 10 years working on construction throughout Thunder Spirit Island and laying out formations to create an altar for the 7 stars ritual. All just for you. Today is the day Jaeon Myung-hoon will conduct his 7 stars ritual. I look up at the night sky. This plan originated from me. Remembering the time when Cheongman Ryong gathered dragon veins to ripen the longevity fruits, I started this plan. The phenomenon of heavenly rejection must be surpassed by one's own power. Then, how far does one's own extend? If one holds a magic artifact and shoots it towards the sky, is that still considered one's own? Then, if one is provided a regular, available magic artifact that even they with spiritual power at the 6th star of Chi refining can use, is that considered one's own? Considering the cases of me, Kim Yeon, and Oh Yun-sok. Simply using a regularly available magic artifact to push through heavenly rejection didn't work. Just as Kim Yeon, directly, manipulated the puppets to overcome heavenly rejection. It is impossible to overcome heavenly rejection with an external magic artifact. If that were possible, Cheongman Ryong would have asked his friend, the artifact craftsman Gongmyo Cheon-sak, to make an artifact for me to use at that time. The point is, only with one's own will and life force can one overcome heavenly rejection. Thus, this complicated and grand plan was conceived. Kugugugu. Beyond the red dragon veins, the lightning that Jaeon Myung-hoon had shot from all directions across Thunder Spirit Island gradually amplifies, enhancing Jaeon Myung-hoon's own aura. Up high, Jaeon Myung-hoon's ship arrives at Thunder Cloud Peak. First, amplify one's energy with the dragon vein and gather it on the altar. Then, shoot that energy into the sky with one's will. That way, the heavenly rejection should be pierced through. For this formation, Jin Baek-ho and countless grand elders of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect spent 10 years digging through Thunder Spirit Island. The role of the formation is to amplify Jaeon Myung-hoon's energy and assist him in manipulating the vast energy when conducting the ritual. There's no way he can properly control and shoot this massive energy on his own. All the formation masters of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect were mobilized. All for one person. Everyone has such strong will for the sake of one disciple. I mutter, watching Jaeon Myung-hoon descend to Thunder Cloud Peak. Who knows? Perhaps in a cycle without me, the grand elders of the sect also mobilize their power to help him in some way. If it's for the reincarnation of the heavenly golden thunder body, the golden deity Yongsu Jin, what can't be done? Hong Su Ryong says as she approaches me. What brings you here? I came to stand guard. She replies, crossing her arms. You're about to enter the mid-stage of nascent soul, aren't you? You caught me. Everyone is focused only on Jaeon Myung-hoon, but since I'm your dual cultivation partner, I thought I'd care for you. Be grateful and form your yang spirit without worry. Thank you. So that's what it was. Jaeon Myung-hoon, having heard Jin Chan's explanation, finally understands. It wasn't indifference. Come here, Jaeon Myung-hoon. Jin Byuk-ho beckons to Jaeon Myung-hoon. Above Thunder Cloud Peak, an altar for the 7 stars ritual is set up. Everyone, for me, Now, we will begin the 7 stars ritual. Within which of the 4 constellations will you reside? Given my meager talent, all this time, they had been preparing. Everyone, I will conduct the ritual under the spirit of the Azure Dragon. You were all thinking of me. A decade of construction work. A grand plan just for Jaeon Myung-hoon that he alone was unaware of. The 7 stars ritual begins. Jaeon Myung-hoon performs the ritual under the Azure Dragon, symbolizing the east and corresponding to the stars of horn, neck, root, room, heart, tail, and winnowing basket. And just before he is to receive the celestial energy from the heavens. Kugugugu. Dark clouds cover the sky. Simultaneously, Kugugugu. The red dragon veins spread throughout Thunder Spirit Island surges up to Thunder Cloud Peak. Seo Eun-yun initiated it, and with the elders and formation masters of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect materializing it, the plan was finally completed by everyone. Cheonmin Ryong and Seo Eun-yun could not have attempted this in the head realm where spiritual energy is scarce. It is only possible in the bright cold realm that is overflowing with spiritual energy. The entire spiritual energy of Thunder Spirit Island is gathered, amplifying a human's crude spiritual power. Through the formation, the spiritual energy is refined, leaving only the pure qualities that originate from Jaeon Myung-hoon, from the amplified spiritual power. After refining and more refining, the remaining energy is an incredibly minute fraction of the originally amplified energy. But even if it is just a fraction of a millionth of the original amplified energy, it can easily surpass the chi building stage given the scale of the formation that covers the entire Thunder Spirit Island. Jaeon Myung-hoon draws in his own energy swirling around him into his body. After circulating the energy within once, he shoots it towards the sky. Kurururum. Jaeon Myung-hoon's accumulating lightning technique does not reach the heavens. It withers away midway, losing its momentum. However, Jaeon Myung-hoon incessantly absorbs the limitless power swirling around him. This is completely different from simply absorbing lightning to convert into spiritual power. The consumption of power when transforming lightning into spiritual power is practically non-existent. Jaeon Myung-hoon continuously draws upon this infinite power, shooting lightning towards the heavens. The once withered momentum of his accumulating lightning technique infinitely amplifies, and strands of red lightning begin to ascend gradually reaching the sky. And finally, at the edge of Thunder Cloud Peak, Jaeon Myung-hoon shouts towards the heavens with all his might. Heavens above, Kurururum. The red lightning tears through the clouds in the sky, forging a path between the stars and man. Jaeon Myung-hoon stretches his hand towards the sky, receiving the celestial energy. With that, Jaeon Myung-hoon successfully completes the 7 stars ritual and enters the 7th star of chi refining. Kururum. In a corner of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. While everyone's attention is on Jaeon Myung-hoon, the Heavenly Golden Thunder body, one person is attempting to advance to the mid-stage of nascent soul. It's Seo Eun-yun. Kurururum. The sky trembles, dropping dual-colored heavenly lightning. Seo Eun-yun, with eyes closed, operates the lightning path methods. Kugugugu. From the nascent soul stage onwards, all cultivators face heavenly tribulations. Rising from the core formation stage to the nascent soul stage brings a single bolt of lightning. From the early to mid stage of nascent soul, 2 bolts of lightning fall. The dual-colored heavenly lightning strikes Seo Eun-yun. However, Seo Eun-yun, fortifying his body with lightning, is unharmed. Kururum. The second heavenly lightning for entering the mid-nascent soul stage strikes, more fierce than ever. Kurururum. Seo Eun-yun faces the second heavenly lightning. The scene looks as if a pillar of light is striking down on Seo Eun-yun. Within that pillar of light, Seo Eun-yun closes his eyes and introspects within himself. How could I, a dullard, learn over 9,000 cultivation methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect in just 10 years? It's partly due to the curse given by the owner of the Heavenly Lightning Banner, granting me knowledge and talent in lightning, but there is another reason. All 9,000 methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect were originally one. As I gradually mastered the methods, I discovered that there are connecting techniques among them. When I managed to master about 40 methods up to the second or third star, I could discern the original text of these connecting techniques. The original text is something I had already long known. Knowing the original text beforehand, understanding its meaning, and being able to apply it to the lightning path methods allowed me to master all 9,000 lightning methods in a short time. The original text of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect's methods is as follows. Chapter 1. All beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Chapter 2. Every being is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration, without distinction of any kind, such as race, plane, vision, cultivation, or origin or any other category such as the physical world, netherworld, immortal realm, decaying corpse realm, or other realms. Furthermore, regardless of whether the fate or history to which a being belongs is subject to constraints by higher beings, there shall be no oppression based on the fate, birth state, or planar status of that being or soul. Chapter 3. Every being has the right to liberty and preservation of life and fate. Chapter 4. This is less a method formula and more of a kind of blessing prayer recited during rituals. And I know this formula's original text. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Words from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights seen on Earth, adapted to this world, imbued with magical power so that the sentences hold power. That is the formula that appears when mastering all methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. Crackle. I recite chapters 1 through 29 internally, operating my spiritual power according to the magical power and force contained within the formula. Thus, knowing the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and having an understanding of the laws of lightning due to the backlash from the curse given by the owner of the Heavenly Lightning Banner, I succeeded in mastering all 9,000 methods within 10 years. Was Yang Su Jin really someone from the same world as me? Now I am certain that Yang Su Jin, the Enders, are beings from Earth. Pazijijik. As I recite chapters 1 through 29, I realize the power of lightning has reached its limit. And in an instant, boom, the power of lightning at its limit shakes off the oppressive heavenly tribulation. Wu Wang. Simultaneously, a surge of cultivation hits me like a flood. My nascent soul, previously glowing with a faint blue light, splits in half, and the other half begins to turn red. A line forms from my forehead, dividing the domain of the Yin spirit and the domain of the Yang spirit. Finally, I have successfully created both the Yin and Yang spirits. However, I brace myself for the backlash that will follow. The formula formed by combining 9,000 methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect indeed maximizes the power of heavenly lightning for a moment. Thanks to this, I was able to amplify the lightning power flowing within me and reach the mid-stage of nascent soul. But, once the heavenly lightning reaches its peak, hiss, the lightning energy swirling around me gradually begins to fade. The abundance of lightning power in my dantian starts to feel flimsy, dissipating into colorlessness. Soon, I revert back to my state from before I completely mastered all the lightning path methods. The power in my dantian confirms I am indeed at the mid-stage of the nascent soul. The cultivation I have built up through the lightning path methods remains. However, after combining the 9,000 methods, the lightning attribute of the lightning path methods becomes completely attribute-less and utterly untraceable. That's right. By unifying all the methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, I successfully reached the mid-stage of nascent soul using that power. But the method formed by unifying all of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect's methods can no longer be called a method of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. Congratulations on reaching the mid-nascent soul stage. Hong Su Ryong comments with a click of her tongue, seemingly regretful. However, to choose to recite such an absurd formula that completely gives up the advantages of the lightning path method, converting it all into ordinary spiritual energy instead, why would you do that? Jaeon Myung-hoon also succeeded in performing the 7 stars ritual, and he could have resolved the disharmony among the methods after reaching the nascent soul stage. Well, it's not like my cultivation has decreased, has it? I laugh it off as if it's no big deal. Now that it's come to this, let's research this nameless method further. What more is there to research? The reason why the previous Supreme Sect Masters kept it hidden becomes obvious. It's a foolish technique that makes you unable to handle the lightning attribute once practiced. Well, that's true, but... What do you mean, that's true, you fool? Enough, I'm going to congratulate Jaeon Myung-hoon. You just stay here and really think about whether what you did was actually wise. For some reason, Hong Soo Ryong seems displeased that I lost the lightning path methods. And flies off to Thundercloud Peak where Jaeon Myung-hoon is. However, I sit quietly and ponder over this nameless formula. This is with 100% certainty left by Yang Soo-jin. Moreover, a technique formula based on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. There must be something to it. Having encountered Yang Soo-jin's arrangements twice, mastering this formula is not a choice but a necessity for me. I operate the nameless formula from the beginning once more, now devoid of any attributes. No change. But operating the attribute-less spiritual power brings no changes. Even the speed at which spiritual power accumulates is unbearably slow. Is this formula even a technique? As I ponder this and recite the last 29th chapter of the formula, I suddenly feel something odd. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights consists of 30 articles. The nameless formula, plagiarizing the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, converting one article to one chapter, only has 29 chapters. I recall the final article of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in my mind. Nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, group or person any right to engage in any activity or to perform any act aimed at the destruction of any of the rights and freedoms set forth herein. In other words, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights cannot be interpreted maliciously. As I recall the last article, something happens. Wo Wang, quote exclamation mark quote. As soon as I contemplate it, the nameless formula starts moving on its own. What's happening? Despite my attempts to control it, it's unyielding. The attribute-less spiritual power surges like a flood, filling my entire body. Then, the spiritual power flows into my upper dantian, from the upper to the middle dantian, from the middle to the lower dantian. It rushes crazily into the nascent soul within the golden core. And at that moment, flash, I realize I have entered a strange space. This place is, whoosh, it's dark, deep, profound darkness, and it's cold, much like when I met him in the lowest level of the serving command arc. As I tensely survey my surroundings, it happens. Are you a later generation? Quote exclamation mark quote. Suddenly, someone speaks to me in a physical voice right in front of me. You are. I try to look up but flinch. Then, cautiously looking down I ask. Are you the golden deity? Yes. I asked if you are a later generation. Yes, I have entered the golden divine heavenly thunder secton. If you're not an ender, you could not possibly have entered here. Cut the pretense. I face the being in front of me. I cautiously ask the golden deity, Yang Soo-jin. The formula that appears when all the methods of the golden divine heavenly thunder sect are combined is it? Yes, you should know it well enough. Quote, what's important is not that. Shouldn't I tell you why I asked the master of the netherworld to create a place for the later generations at the bottom of the netherworld, where no light enters, and left my thoughts there? I tense up. Let me warn you about one thing before we begin. The founder of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect. The one who stole the Heavenly Lightning Banner from its owner. The entity that caused countless upheavals. My conversation with Golden Deity Yang Soo-jin began like this. Be wary of the light. Following the Emperor's will, that being lurks around you, anytime, anywhere, in any manner. In ways beyond your imagination. Translator notes. Why is this chapter so long? It ain't even the last chapter of the cycle LMAO. Also, lore drop time. But before that, Q&A brought to you by Blue Mango Aid. Chapter 233. What is a human? 1. Be cautious of the light. Surely, it was a story I had also heard from him whose name escapes me. The light, what exactly is it? One of the governing immortals. Governing immortals. Those who have transcended the limits and boundaries of true immortals are called governing immortals. They are the supreme deities and the heavenly venerables, and across all 3,000 worlds, there are only 10 such beings. The 6 supreme deities and the 4 heavenly venerables are among them. Gulguk. I swallow hard. Just hearing about the 6 supreme deities and the 4 heavenly venerables, my strength drains away. At the same time, my head begins to feel foggy. Dripping. Somehow, I feel as if I am floating. For some reason, I think my body is melting away. No, it isn't. It isn't a delusion or thought. My body is, in fact, melting like candle wax in front of Yang Su Jin. Snap out of it. Hugh, what's happening to me? I'm on the verge of screaming in terror. But then, DDAK, Yang Su Jin snaps his finger in the darkness. At the same time, my body returns to its original form. It seems even knowing of their existence is too overwhelming for you. Quote question mark. I can't help but feel baffled, unable to understand. What was that just now? Having accepted the knowledge of beings at the peak of the world, your body at the genetic level tried to disintegrate out of fear. But it's strange, even considering they are governing immortals, merely knowing of their existence usually doesn't trigger such a severe reaction unless one of the governing immortals is observing you. Yang Su Jin mutters to himself for a moment, then snaps his fingers again. Jijik. Simultaneously, sparks of static electricity begins to erupt all around. Aha, I see. The master of the netherworld has noticed an ender has entered their domain. They are descending here. Excuse me, don't worry too much. Because of the pact I made during my lifetime, even the master of the netherworld will take some time to enter our place of conversation, despite it being land provided by him. So, we have plenty of time to talk. I am speechless, overwhelmed by the sudden flood of information. The master of the netherworld. Supreme deity, heavenly venerable, I am utterly confused. But, even in the midst of this, I cling to a shred of sanity. As the master of the netherworld, whom you mentioned, also a governing immortal. Yes, one of the heavenly venerables. The owner of light, obsessed with monitoring the enders, is also one of the supreme deities. Ah, if you met me through the golden divine heavenly thunder sect, you'd know already, but the original owner of the heavenly lightning banner is also one of the supreme deities, the owner of heavenly punishment. Quote. I'm startled by the information I have suddenly come to know. So much information in such a short time. I take a breath. Then you said that the entity known as the owner of light searches for enders under the decree of the Emperor. The remnant thoughts of you I saw at Shattered Heaven Peak also mention someone as pursuing enders. Are these entities the same person? Even as I speak, I am careful and slow with my words, worrying I might say something wrong. For a wrong word could make me the target of their observation. However, Yang Su Jin doesn't stop me, seemingly finding no issue with it. They are the same entity. Although I give due respect to the governing immortals by referring to them as supreme deities and heavenly venerables, in reality that entity is the true emperor. The rest are merely pretenders. Who is this entity? Who is it that targets enders? I swallow. Now, the clear truth about the entity targeting us. I don't know. Excuse me, but Yang Su Jin merely clicks his tongue in the darkness. It's because I am a divided consciousness, split from the main body before I confronted that entity to make a negotiation. The main body perished after meeting that entity, and most of our ender predecessors faced the same fate upon encountering that entity. I can only guess that it's a being who doesn't particularly welcome us. However, there is someone who would likely know much about that entity. When you've grown stronger, seek them out. Who is that being? The one furiously knocking from outside this space. The master of the netherworld, the heavenly venerable who overseers the afterlife and reincarnation. They are the oldest among all supreme deities, heavenly venerables, governing immortals, and true immortals, so ask them later. I ask, not understanding. Why must I ask later? Can't I ask now? The master of the netherworld is a peculiar being. They eagerly capture enders when they are weak, intending to lock them away at the bottom of the netherworld. However, once enders become as strong as them, they kindly offer cooperation. If you, in your current state, are caught by them, you'd be sealed at the bottom of the netherworld for eternity. I swallow hard. If that's the case, me, my companions, and the enders all need to be wary not only of the light but also of the master of the netherworld. So, the master of the netherworld is. Let's end this topic for now. While the bottom of the netherworld might not require worry about the gaze of other governing immortals or that entity, the power and gaze of the netherworld's heavenly venerable becomes even clearer. Just by recalling and mentioning them, you're creating a connection between you and them. As soon as I hear that, chills run down my spine and I find myself covering my mouth without realizing it. I can guess what you're curious about. However, the master of the netherworld does not usually interfere before the enders enter the realm of the dead. Hence, as long as you're alive and avoid going to the netherworld, there's no need to worry too much. Of course, the fact that they don't leave the netherworld is not due to any restrictions but his personal issues, so don't be too relieved. Yes, I understand for now. The Heavenly Venerable can leave the netherworld. I feel a shiver run through me. The fear that an unimaginably distant being can do whatever it wants, and I can do nothing about it overwhelms me. Let's not be consumed by fear and use the remaining time to learn what must be learned. First, aside from things about governing immortals, why did you call me here? Good. It's impressive how quickly you're moving past the fear of governing immortals. You have strong mental fortitude. Yang Su-jin commends me for shifting the question. The reason I called you here is firstly to determine whether you are a later generation who inherited my fate or just another Ender. Your fate? Yes. The fates bestowed upon Enders are fixed and immutable. When all the Enders of a previous generation disappear because of that entity, new Enders are born into this world with new fates. Of course, the abilities obtained with the fates differ each time, as the world provides the optimal power to fulfill the fates. Do I have the same fate as you? Yang Su-jin seems to look at me for a moment from within the darkness in response to my question. It seems not. You have a completely different fate. But, I wait for Yang Su-jin's next words. Judging by the significant pain and despair in your history, your fate is as vile as mine. Kukuk. Excuse me, my fate is vile. I'm puzzled when I hear this. First I should explain why I established the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. Yang Su-jin began his explanation. My core method is the Red Lightning Heavenly Tribulation method, a technique that can only be learned by those who possess the Heavenly Golden Thunder body or someone with the same fate as me. This technique allows one to draw out the utmost power of the Heavenly Golden Thunder body. Even if one does not possess the Heavenly Golden Thunder body, an Ender who is bestowed with the same fate as me can master this technique and obtain the Heavenly Golden Thunder body. Quote! And you have mastered all the techniques of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, found the hidden formula among them, and came here after mentioning the last of what is famous in our homeland, right? That's correct. The method that emerges from combining all methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect is the Extinguishing Divine Tribulating Heavens technique. As you've probably realized from practicing it, it's not really a method. It's a kind of blessing prayer, a sacrificial ritual. Why did you create something like this? I asked Yang Su-jin. I remember Hong Su-ryong's reaction when I told her about the method Yang Su-jin calls Extinguishing Divine Tribulation Heaven technique. A kind of ritual that loses the attributes of the Lightning Path method. What are you saying? The ultimate form of the techniques created by the founder of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect is a ritual that loses the identity of the sect. Exactly what was the 120,000 years of history for to rush endlessly just to lose its identity? To reach the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Decree. The Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Decree. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a declaration that guarantees the rights of beings. I spent my life trying to change my fate, to gain the rights and freedom of humans. Changing my fate was my lifelong wish and deepest desire. I can't see through the darkness, but I feel Yang Su-jin clenching his fist. Most of us Enders are miserable. However, while there are Enders who are bestowed with good fates, there are also those like you and me who are bestowed with vile fates. Kukuk, I wished to exchange my vile fate with the fate of another Ender. The Red Lightning Heavenly Tribulation method symbolizes my current fate. The Extinguishing Divine Tribulating Heavens technique symbolizes the will to twist my fate. And finally, my future after successfully changing my fate would have been the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Decree. If I had truly succeeded in changing my fate and achieving happiness, then the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Decree would have been born. However, Yang Su-jin's voice loses its strength. As you see, I failed. I tried until right before I confronted that entity, but in the end, changing fate was nothing but an illusion. Then, the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect was. I tremble, vaguely catching on to the existence and meaning of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect from Yang Su-jin's words. Was it an object of ritual, to change your fate? Yes. Specifically, it was the preparatory material for a ritual to change fate. Ultimately, it was a failed creation. I can't help but retort at Yang Su-jin's tone. To call your descendants a failure, isn't that a bit too harsh? How can you say such things when you've incorporated the Universal Declaration of Human Rights into your methods? However, Yang Su-jin seems puzzled by my words. You're speaking strangely. Excuse me, what's the problem with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? It's a declaration that guarantees human rights and freedoms. Yes, but why? Let me ask you, what is a human? Excuse me, I ask back, incredulous. Dignified and free, endowed with reason. Right, you know well, the essence is freedom. Only beings that possess freedom, or have the potential to acquire freedom, are human, and thus have the right to enjoy the privileges of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Yang Su-jin shouts, clenching his fist in the darkness. Therefore, only we Enders are humans, and all other beings in this world, including true immortals, are non-humans. Excuse me, stunned by his radical and absurd claim, I'm left speechless, my mouth agape. Chapter 234. What is a human too? What on earth are you talking about? I ask, astounded. Is this really the thought process of an ordinary person? No, it's not. He is a being who had reached the pinnacle of true immortals. Just reaching the heavenly being stage would drive one's corner of the mind to madness. If it's Yang Su-jin, who had reached the ultimate pinnacle of true immortals, perhaps his logic and common sense have already become so far removed from that of ordinary humans that the gap cannot be bridged. I quickly gather my thoughts and ask again. Quote, only the Enders are free, are you suggesting that other beings cannot be free? Yes, everything in this world moves according to the guidance of fate. Yang Su-jin laughs in the darkness. Do you know why the civilization of this world remains stuck in the Middle Ages? Despite having a history of hundreds of thousands of years, why do they always maintain the same way of life, the same civilization? Somehow, Yang Su-jin's laughter seems like a sneer. Entirely because they are slaves to fate. Bound by the curvature of fate and human effort, all beings in this world fail to evolve through eternity, foolishly repeating the same civilization. All beings living in this world seem to think, speak, and feel, but in reality, they do not. Every single one of their actions, words, and emotions are determined by fate. No one has free will. Quote, Then, I ask, feeling a strong repulsion to Yang Su-jin's extreme ideology. What about the Heart Tribe? Heart Tribe, yes, they are the ones who have refined their minds and heart essences to resist fate. According to your words, beings such as the Heart Tribe shouldn't even exist. Heart Tribe, haha, ahahaha, just as I mention, Heart Tribe, Yang Su-jin suddenly bursts into laughter. Hee ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, coo goo goo goo. The darkness resounds with his laughter. A laugh filled with madness. Somehow, this laughter feels very unpleasant and eerie to me. At the same time, I have a premonition that Yang Su-jin is about to reveal a very unpleasant truth. The Heart Tribe are free beings resisting fate. Wrong. In the darkness, Yang Su-jin stops laughing and continues. For some reason, Yang Su-jin's voice is very gloomy and grating. Rather, the Heart Tribe is the most direct evidence that they are merely slaves and playthings of fate. For some reason, there is a hint of anger in Yang Su-jin's voice. Though I can't see his emotions or intent in the darkness, I can immediately tell that he had experienced something related to the Heart Tribe long ago from his voice. Do you think the Heart Tribe occurred naturally? The Heaven Tribe and Earth Tribe oppress the weaker races, so they naturally came into being, didn't they? Then why didn't the Heart Tribe arise in the Head Realm? Well, the cultivators of the Head Realm didn't directly enslave a race or... That's not true. Even the demon beasts and humans of the Head Realm frequently capture each other to create ranches and breed them. Quote, I remember the case of the Sea Dragon race and close my mouth. He is right. In the Head Realm, perhaps there should have been beings from other origins who entered beyond the path and resisted, but there weren't. Why is that? Yang Su-jin moves his arm in the darkness. His faint outline can be seen raising a finger. Then why didn't the Heart Tribe arise in the Head Realm? Why are there heavenly fiends, heaven devils, and true devils, demon devils, in the true devil realm corresponding to the heaven and earth tribes, but no devil race corresponding to the Heart Tribe? Why does the Heart Tribe exist only in the bright cold realm? Why, despite possessing the insane ability to add heavenly tribulation when reaching a stage corresponding to the heavenly being stage, are they so weak? Why do the heaven and earth tribes despise the Heart Tribe to the point of madness? Why is there not a single Dharma treasure or magic artifact made from preserving Heart Tribe members? Why is there no information about the true immortals that appear when the Heart Tribe reaches its zenith, and why does nobody know? Quote, literally, there are too many questions. Yang Su-jin's explanation continues. It's simple. The Heart Tribe, originally, does not exist. Quote. Before the Enders appear, they suddenly emerge in large numbers, and once all the Enders are annihilated, they too will perish and decline, disappearing into history. Quote. Quote. Yang Soo-jin folds his extended finger as he speaks. I can't help but be astonished by the information Yang Soo-jin shares. What on earth? Do you understand? The Heart Tribe is nothing more than another form of slaves to fate, fatefully emerging as the Enders set foot into this world. The Heart Tribe indeed proves that the beings of this world do not possess free will. I remain silent for a while. The truth is too shocking to accept. What in the world? Then what about Jang Ik, Yu Hua, and the countless members of the Heart Tribe? I ask with a trembling voice. Then, why do we have free will? Aren't we the ones with a predetermined fate, the ones who follow it? We come from a world where fate does not exist. Yang Soo-jin says as if it is obvious. We are beings from a world where neither fate, gods, nor miracles exist. Any fate imposed on us is ultimately something forced by others. We will one day surely become beings who are truly free. Quote, I can't sympathize with Yang Soo-jin's extreme ideology. However, somehow, Yang Soo-jin's voice carries a sense that he too wishes to be free from fate. If we are beings who can become free, doesn't that mean Yang Soo-jin hasn't achieved freedom yet? Yet, I do not voice this thought out loud. Well, have you asked everything you're curious about? It's almost time for the master of the netherworld to shatter the barriers here, so I should pass on what I need to pass on to you. There's still a mountain of questions I have. Well, you'll come to know what you're curious about in time. What I'm about to pass on now is more important. What do you intend to pass on? Extinguishing divine tribulating heavens. In the darkness, he extends his hand toward me. Extinguishing divine tribulating heavens is the will to defy fate itself. It is ultimately a ritual to defy fate. Although I could not change my fate as an ender. His tone seems somewhat bitter. There's a way to overcome the fates imposed by other true immortals through the ritual. Of course, it's not perfectly effective. Crack. Yang Soo-jin's hand grips my head. Simultaneously, I feel a tremendous torrent of knowledge swirling in my mind. Quote exclamation mark. Quote. The rites for conducting the ritual of the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens flows into my mind. Even if you have questions at this moment, even if I can't give you answers at this moment through the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique, I have bestowed upon you the power to seek answers. Someday, you will come to know everything you are curious about. The extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique will guide you to that end. Through the power of attribute-less lightning, the ritual slightly twists fate, improving the odds of winning, even if by a little, in overwhelmingly unfair battles against powerful beings. That is the ritual of the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. The formulas for the 9,500 methods of the golden divine heavenly thunder sector all converted into ritual rites by Yang Soo-jin and flow into my mind. Countless rites and phrases anchored in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights are engraved in my spirit. I clench my teeth and hold my sanity intact as I receive the ritual rites. Our time is nearly up. Coo-goo-goo-goo-goo. In the space of darkness, a somewhat eerie aura swirls about. Cold. No, it is beyond just being cold. This is so cold, so cold, so cold, so cold, so cold, dying, death. A deep and vast being is watching me from across the darkness, but Yang Soo-jin pats my shoulder. Since you've kindly provided this space, why not let me and my junior have a comfortable conversation instead of being so hasty? Yang Soo-jin speaks toward the darkness on the other side, his tone laced with a hint of mockery. Who do you so desire to possess an ender? Even you cannot obtain an ender by following the flow of fate. Fate oppresses us, but at the same time, it protects us. You should know this better than anyone. Wo wung. A strange wailing comes from the darkness. Mixed in this wailing are bizarre knowledge and truths, giving the intuition that one can gain endless knowledge and wisdom if one listens closely. I want to listen more. If I focus on the wisdom within that sound, perhaps I can obtain something comparable to the ghostly yin transformation immortal root. Use the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. Crackle. Quote exclamation mark quote. As Yang Soo-jin's hand touches my back, suddenly, the attribute-less spiritual power within me moves. At the same time, I feel the desire to concentrate on that wailing sound completely disappear. Even if this space is provided by the master of the netherworld, this place is where my main body, in its prime, directly negotiated and formed a pact with the netherworld's heavenly venerable. Even for the netherworld's heavenly venerable, entering here takes time. Coo-goo-goo-goo-goo. However, contrary to Yang Soo-jin's bold statement, the wailing sound from afar seems to grow louder. Now, in about 30 seconds, that being will arrive. Let's start sending you back. In the darkness, I see Yang Soo-jin's form gradually dissipating. The body is dispersing. Yes, I was merely sealing my thoughts in this space under the courtesy of the master of the netherworld. Now that the seal is undone, I am simply dispersing. Yang Su-jin continues speaking as he disperses like soap bubbles. My role is complete. Enders cannot leave leftovers, but I have managed to leave behind fragments after death by borrowing the power of the netherworld. What a grand feat this is. Later generation, do not succumb to fate. Proclaim to the heavens that we Enders are the true humans. Watching Yang Su-jin disperse, I feel a complex mix of emotions. His ideology is too extreme, uncomfortable for listeners. Yet, seeing him from my hometown succumb and vanish before an unidentified entity makes my heart heavy. Well, I am now leaving. Later generation, the messages left behind by Enders for later generations are not only from me, so continue to search. The most universally accessible message for an Ender is swoosh. He extends his hand, and I feel myself pushed backwards. Falling toward a warm, light-filled place, I focus on Yang Su-jin's words. Seek lovers whose names involve cause and connection. Blessing their union, you may encounter the remnant of the strongest Ender. Quote exclamation mark quote. Love of virtue's leftovers have taken a keen interest in them after gaining strength, meet with blood yin. TSSSSSSs. Enveloped in bright light, I exit the space of darkness. The last thing I see is Yang Su-jin's thoughts dispersing in the darkness, and a vast, deep entity quietly observing me. Zing. Yang Su-jin's words echo in my mind. We all eventually have to go to the netherworld. If you find yourself there, never look back and enter the straight, narrow path as quickly as possible. That will be the only way you can move on. With that, I open my eyes. Hyok. Far off, Thunder Cloud Peak buzzes with a festive atmosphere. It must be because Jaeon Myung-hoon has reached the 7th star of chi refining. I can feel that my cultivation has reached the mid-stage of nascent soul. The cool night air and the familiar moon of the bright cold realm hangs high above my head. Huff, ha, cold sweat flows spontaneously. I've returned. I'm alive. The last entity I saw, vast and profound. Having seen that entity made me profoundly grateful for being alive. First, I should go back to my cave residence. Thump. I try to rise but fall forward, collapsing. I momentarily panic, but I soon realize. My body is drained of strength. And it's drenched. My body is soaked in cold sweat. My skin is pale, my heart racing unnaturally. Is it because I went to the netherworld? No, it's because I saw that vast, profound entity. Realizing this, I understand what Yang Su-jin has done for me. He kept protecting me. Just having directly faced the owner of heavenly punishment, a curse followed me beyond regression. It's anticipated that the heavenly venerable of the netherworld, presumably of a higher rank, has directly observed me. Yet, the worst that happened is just my inability to move, surely because Yang Su-jin had protected me from that being's gaze for a while. Still, I can't just lie here. I struggle with all my strength, wriggling my whole body. After a lot of effort, I am barely able to move. I move my weary body to my cave residence and collapse onto the bed I made there, passing out. After reaching Chi building, I hardly needed sleep. But the exhaustion from my time in the netherworld, even under Yang Su-jin's protection, brought me overwhelming tiredness. The next day, blink. What I see upon waking is Jin Baek-ho. With a stern face, Jin Baek-ho speaks to me. Show me your wrist. Quote. Translator notes. I like how the words heaven and tribulation are switched between the red lightning heavenly tribulation method and extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. It adds a bit more of a symbolic meaning of reversing one's fate by reversing the tribulation given by the heavens. Chapter 235. What is a human? 3. You want my wrist. I immediately understand what Jin Baek-ho wants from me. After reaching the heavenly being stage, he should be able to see right through me. Asking for my hand must be because, even for him, it's something unbelievable. I obediently extend my wrist. He slowly grabs my wrist then, like a doctor, he reads my pulse. Wang. Jin Baek-ho's consciousness starts from my blood vessels and quickly sweeps through my entire body once. You. Jin Baek-ho calls out to me with a somewhat heavy voice. There's a troubled look in his eyes. Quote. I've heard from the Grand Elders that you began to learn all the methods of the sect. Yes. So, I thought, maybe after studying the methods for about 1,000 years, you would discover the hidden formula and the concealed technique. But, there's a mix of disbelief in Jin Baek-ho's troubled look. To master all the methods in just 10 years and to reproduce a technique that has only been passed down as legend. I don't know whether to praise you for it or to scold you for carelessly discarding the overall lightning path method and the lightning sacred body you had developed. I remain outwardly calm, but the words Jin Bayak Ho spits out stirs a significant turmoil in my heart. And then, Jin Bayak Ho continues speaking with a sigh. I don't know if Jin he told you, but the real name of the technique that appears when you learn all the methods is the Extinguishing Divine Tribulating Heavens technique. It is said to be the greatest enlightenment the founder wanted to leave in the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, passed down through generations of sect leaders. Is that so? There are two main characteristics of the technique. First, once you start learning it, all the lightning path methods you have been practicing turn transparent and change into attribute-less spiritual power, losing all the benefits you've been enjoying from the lightning path method. Second, with a slightly stunned expression, Jin Bayak Ho says, the original spiritual roots disappear, and the body becomes that of a mortal, losing the ability to cultivate further. In other words, the innate talent you were born with vanishes. Simply put, you are no longer capable of cultivation and can no longer pursue the path of immortality. If you had reached the heavenly being stage, there might have been a way. Indeed, upon introspection, I can't feel the 5 elements spiritual roots I had formed through the 5 energies converging to the origin. There is spiritual power in my body, but it feels like my flesh has lost the ability to absorb it. Since I can no longer refine spiritual energy into spiritual power, I won't be able to recover spiritual power if I use any spells in the future. However, Jin Bayak Ho does not seem too concerned about the loss of spiritual roots. Don't worry about the spiritual root itself. If we can find you a red spirit ginseng that grants you the red spirit tree body or other special elixirs that can grant you a new spiritual root, it's not too big of a problem. But what truly matters is, you've lost your lightning sacred body. I observe Jin Bayak Ho's intent. Externally he seems calm, but internally, he feels like he is about to explode. No wonder. Just when the heavenly golden thunder body had barely overcome its crisis, another one suddenly almost became immortal, losing his talent. It wouldn't have been surprising if he suddenly grabbed me by the collar, wondering what had happened. Considering his explosive temperament, he must be holding back with all his might. With the loss of the lightning sacred body, can you remain in the golden divine heavenly thunder sect? He asks me. Instead of answering his question, I ask another. Before that, the Supreme Sect Master mentioned he knew the formula for extinguishing divine tribulating heavens. Do you know how to use this extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique, what it is used for, and so on? I have a rough idea. Extinguishing divine heaven tribulation is not meant for cultivation but as a ritual rite, used in conjunction with various rituals. I know it's a technique that maximizes the effect of said rituals. Of course, the founder's intention behind leaving such a technique has not been transmitted. It seems Jin Bayak Ho only heard about the existence of extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique and roughly what kind of technique it is. It might have been transmitted that way originally, or perhaps it was well transmitted at first, but over time, what was passed down faded away. Is there any sect regulation related to extinguishing divine tribulating heavens? I heard there used to be some, but by my generation, most of those regulations were no longer passed down. Is that so? I slightly furrow my brow. In the case of a technique like extinguishing divine tribulating heavens, which was directly left by Yongsu Jin, even a slight misstep can lead to great danger. Regulations for such methods are crucial. After all, merely by continuing to practice this technique, I might attract the attention of some powerful beings. I need to find out about these regulations. Since Jin Bayak Ho is unaware, I have no other choice. He asks me about my current physical condition and my plans for the future. If you have practiced the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique, there's nothing you can do with the original lightning path methods of the sect anymore. Since it has transformed into an attribute-less method, trying to use the original intricacies of the lightning path method as before will be futile since the intricacies operated through attribute-less spiritual power will not function properly. Even if you try to learn a new lightning path method, it will be absorbed by the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. Could it be that I can no longer learn the lightning path method, and hence I'll be expelled from the golden divine heavenly thunder sect? What? At my question, Jin Bayak Ho clicks his tongue and says, that's nonsense. Even if all your talent and 5 elements spiritual roots have vanished, you are still a mid-nascent soul stage elder. Having condensed a nascent soul, you are one of the respected seniors even in the bright cold realm. We cannot afford to abandon such strength. Moreover, extinguishing divine tribulating heavens is also a legacy left by our founder. You still have a duty to remain to steadily practice it and research what significance its intricacies hold. Is that so? I smile slightly. After all, Jin Baek Ho's words are quite true. You asked if it matters if I lose the lightning sacred body, right? Yes, it does not matter. Quote exclamation mark quote. As long as the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect continues to accept me, I will remain a disciple here. That's good. Thank you. He pats my shoulder. Anyway, even if I can't learn the lightning path methods anymore, there are things I must do. After all, I need to steal the heavenly lightning banner. That is also one of the goals of this life. But whether Jin Baek Ho knows of my malicious intent? He pats my shoulder with a proud expression. Startled, I flinch and wonder if he is scheming something, but fortunately, that does not seem to be the case. Though you've lost your spiritual root and lightning path methods, you are still a talent of the sect. I will send you special elixirs later to supplement the spiritual root. Furthermore, though it is regrettable, you are still a great disciple who has mastered all the methods of the sect. I look forward to your future. Yes. After encouraging me for a while, he leaves my cave residence. After he leaves, I close my eyes and introspect my body. The attribute less transparent spiritual power flows within me. At the same time, quote. Finally, I smile, realizing that the curse of lightning transformation, which had been gradually consuming my body, has finally disappeared. I've been liberated. The curse that followed me for 500 years, even after dying twice, is finally lifted as the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens transforms the lightning in my body into an attribute-less state. Despite the significant events that have occurred, the fact that the curse is lifted means that I have achieved one of the major goals of this life. Of course, I haven't yet achieved the goals of reaching the heavenly being stage and stealing the heavenly lightning banner. I take a deep breath. Wo Wang. With my breath, heaven and earth spiritual energy enters me. I operate the Dragon Vein Chi method, quickly beginning the complete transformation of the 5 energies converging to the origin once again. Crackling. There is hardly any change with the transformation. Just loosening up the body. However, I can feel the 5 elements spiritual roots being regenerated in my body as the spiritual energy of the 5 energies converging to the origin enters. Hua. Feeling the restored 5 elements spiritual roots, I absorb the heaven and earth spiritual energy with the newly formed roots. The depleted spiritual power rapidly replenishes, and I quickly recover to my peak condition. I have reached the mid-nascent soul stage. Having succeeded in creating a yang spirit, all I need to do is gather yang energy to lead the yang spirit to the peak and gain the momentum to advance to the late nascent soul stage. From then on, it will be much easier. Well, then, let's reorganize everything I need to do and what I've gained. What I have gained is precious information and a technique to resist fate, extinguishing divine tribulating heavens. What I have to do is rise to the heavenly being stage and steal the heavenly lightning banner. But with the acquisition of extinguishing divine tribulating heavens, another task has arisen. The Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect has not properly passed down the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. It doesn't feel like they properly understand it. So, what should be done? I should find someone knowledgeable about the inheritance. I rise from my bed. Perhaps due to the effects of visiting the bottom of the netherworld, my body lacks vitality, and my whole body creaks like that of an old man about to die. But after sleeping, it seems I can still move. I head to the entrance of my cave residence and shout in demon beast language. Hong, Fan, Wo Wang. The vibration of spiritual energy echoes in all directions. After a while, Kugugugu, a giant centipede, each segment now larger than a house, flies through the air towards me. Hong Fan, boasting a black carapace, pushes its face towards me. What brings you to summon me, Master? Bring me the list of new disciples from the bright cold realm who have recently joined the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect in the last 10 years. Yes. Swoosh. Hong Fan flies away without a word and returns to me after a while. In Hong Fan's forelegs are a few scrolls, small compared to its size, held tightly. Here is the list of new disciples. Right, thank you. Now, let's see. I spread out the scroll and quickly read through the names on the list. After a while, I am able to find the name I am looking for. Here it is. A disciple who joined 8 years ago recently became a green lightning disciple due to their rapid cultivation speed attracting the elders' attention. I point to a name on the list and instruct. Hong Fan, bring this person to my cave residence. Yes, Master. Hong Fan immediately flies off again at my command. I should ask her. Shortly after, Hong Fan flies back from afar, carrying an early Qi building stage disciple in its mouth. Wish, bang, ack, throw me gently. Thrown by Hong Fan, the disciple rolls on the ground. Clutching their head, they glare at Hong Fan with a sullen look. Of course, since Hong Fan is at the early core formation stage and silently stares back, the disciple ends up shutting their mouth. The person glances at Hong Fan for a moment. Upon seeing me, they appear surprised and quickly show respect. Ah, green lightning disciple of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, Yi and Jin Abyssal Quake. I greet the purple lightning elder. A familiar appearance with mixed black and white hair. A cultivator looking somewhat young, dressed in a golden robe. It's my old friend, Yi and Jin. Sit down. I call him inside my cave residence and have him sit down, then slowly move to prepare spiritual tea. After brewing the tea leaves infused with spiritual energy and pouring him a cup, Yi and Jin has an expression of gratitude. Don't feel burdened. Thank you, elder. Don't taste it just yet. I warn Yi and Jin, in case he drinks it first. This thunder leaf tea is very popular among the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. It's a tea also enjoyed by the elders. Just one sip can enhance the lightning path method's spiritual power. It's a precious spiritual tea that can give even mid-nascent soul stage cultivators the equivalent of spiritual power to 1 or 2 months of cultivation. For a Qi building cultivator like you, it will probably increase your spiritual power a couple times more. To offer me such a precious thing. If I am to treat a precious guest, I must prepare something valuable. I am unworthy, just a mere green lightning disciple. Wang, I activate a strand of spiritual power, triggering the formations I have pre-arranged around my cave residence. TSST. A barrier forms inside the cave residence, completely isolating us from the outside. Now, please come out, senior. As a junior, I wasn't sure what you'd like. Hence, I prepared a modest thunder leaf tea, hoping it suits your taste. Yi and Jin, seeing me suddenly using honorifics, wears a puzzled expression. However, his every intent is transparent to me. The overwhelming majority of, how could this be? Dominates his mind. And then, whoa Wang, something seems to rise from within Yi and Jin and his hair changes. Creak. Yi and Jin, who is a boy. His yin and yang reverses, and Yi and Jin transforms into a girl, giving off a completely different aura than just moments ago. Yi and Jin crosses her arms and looks at me. No, it's not Yi and Jin. She scrutinizes me. How did you know? I am now facing Yi and Jin's ancestor. Yi and Wei. A junior should have some skills, shouldn't they? Chapter 236. What is a human for? For a moment, our gazes clash. The next moment, zap, it seems as if lightning sparks in the air, and our consciousness clashes between us. Suddenly attacking a junior with your consciousness. That's frightening. HMPH. A youngster daring to directly block a consciousness attack of a peak 4-axis stage and still pretending to be so delicate. I resist the sudden consciousness attack from Yi and Wei with a faint smile. To put it coldly, her being only left with her consciousness means she is something I can now easily suppress at my level. Thanks to extinguishing divine tribulating heavens, the attributes of the lightning path method have all disappeared. However, it only became attribute-less, and the other powers are unaffected. She seems to have noticed this through the surprise attack just now and does not act recklessly anymore, sitting down demurely and sipping her tea. So, why and how did such a fragile junior like you find and summon me, a traitor of the sect, without even informing your supreme sect master Jin Baek-ho? Until now, I haven't properly conversed with her or asked her anything due to focusing on finding a way to lift the curse of lightning transformation and observing Jaeon Myung-hoon. But now that the primary task has been resolved, I feel at liberty to ask. I have some questions and sought to inquire. Rest assured, I shall keep absolute silence to the supreme sect master. Can you guarantee the safety of Yi and Jin and myself? Indeed, I swear upon my nascent soul that I will keep your identities secret. Yi and Wei seems slightly skeptical at my earnest response, but she has no choice in her current situation. I slowly start asking my questions. Firstly, I heard that while you held the position of a sect leader of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, you never rose above that rank. However, you were said to have had deep connections with those who had. Might you know anything about the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique? Her reaction comes immediately. What? Yi and Wei's pupils constrict. What are you talking about? Why are you asking about that ridiculous legend? She knows. With a triumphant smile, I continue. You are aware, then, to share my achievements with you, Senior. I have successfully acquired the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. As a result, I release colorless spiritual power while speaking. Like this, I have lost all the powers of the lightning path method. Quote! Quote. Yi and Wei's pupils shake wildly. You've actually mastered it. Yes. What I am curious about is whether in your generation, there were legends regarding or a proper transmission of the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. How was it passed down 40,000 years ago? For a moment, she looks at me dumbfounded. Her intent seems to be filled with the question, could it really be possible? Quote. To think mastering it was possible. Well, assuming it is. She seems flustered and unable to continue for a moment. After regaining her composure, she nods. Well, fine. In my generation, there was indeed an inheritance regarding the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. There were also internal regulations regarding it within the sect. Quote. Please, enlighten this junior about the inheritance and internal regulations. Yi and Wei looks at me with an incomprehensible gaze for a moment and then begin to explain. Quote. Extinguishing divine tribulating heavens is fundamentally a technique that defies the heavens. In other words, it's a miraculous ability that threatens the heavens. So that's why it's called tribulating heaven. According to what was passed down, extinguishing divine tribulating heavens is said to possess the power to overcome crises when the sect is in dire straits. I don't know the details, but the method to fully master extinguishing divine tribulating heavens is quite unique and still vivid in my memory. How does one fully master it? The words that follow give me a feeling of great irony. In the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, there's something called the Ancestral Command. To put it frankly, the sect master executes the orders on behalf of the founding ancestor through the Ancestral Command. Anything ordained by the Ancestral Command must be absolutely obeyed, and the Ancestral Command itself is transmitted as something very sacred and is thus rarely used. It's mainly used when the sect is in a state of emergency or when expelling a traitor who has committed a capital crime against the sect. A bitter smile forms on Yi and Wei's lips. I was expelled through the Ancestral Command. A disciple expelled through the Ancestral Command cannot be reinstated, and this is absolute. From what I know, achieving greatness in extinguishing divine tribulating heavens requires being expelled by such an Ancestral Command. Quote. Quote. Being expelled by the Ancestral Command as a disciple of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect completes a certain ritual of the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens, allowing one who has mastered it to use its powers freely. Quote. I see. Listening to her explanation and recalling the truths Yang Su Jin had told me, I can uncover the bitter truth about the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. From the beginning, the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect was nothing but a long-term plan for Yang Su Jin. First, master the Red Lightning Heavenly Tribulation method. Then, nullify one's own power through the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. Create a sect, become the founder, and finally expel oneself, thereby nullifying one's fate and obtaining the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder decree to acquire a different fate. A sect that exists solely for the secret art of a single ender. That is the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. That's roughly the information I received about extinguishing divine tribulating heavens. In addition, there are 4 internal rules regarding the technique within the sect. The internal regulations regarding extinguishing divine tribulating heavens she mentions are as follows. First, one who has mastered extinguishing divine tribulating heavens must never disclose the technique to the heavenly lightning banner. Second, one must not hold the heavenly lightning banner when using extinguishing divine tribulating heavens. Third, be cautious about openly using extinguishing divine tribulating heavens in front of high-ranking entities, as it may provoke their wrath. Fourth, extinguishing divine tribulating heavens is not an auspicious ritual but one that invites calamity, so be mindful. These are the internal rules regarding extinguishing divine tribulating heavens as transmitted within the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. The matter regarding the heavenly lightning banner I can understand. If the owner of heavenly punishment learns about the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique through the heavenly lightning banner, it could be troublesome. The third rule makes sense as well. From Yang Su Jin's perspective, high-ranking entities would mean those at the true immortal level and above. Using such a technique in front of a true immortal could indeed provoke them. However, the last rule, the idea that extinguishing divine tribulating heavens invites calamity is confusing. What does it mean by a ritual that invites calamity? Is it meant to be taken literally? I ponder over the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens technique. It seems that using extinguishing divine tribulating heavens inherently comes with backlash. Perhaps that is what it means. It's likely a warning about the repercussions of using extinguishing divine tribulating heavens. I organize the information in my head. Quote. Thank you for the information. Well, I have to answer if a sect junior asks. Haha, there are a few more things I'd like to ask, if I may. What is it? It's about the heavenly lightning banner. When I mention the heavenly lightning banner, Yin Wei's expression darkens. The heavenly lightning banner, by all means, is not some sacred object. Yes, I am aware. It should be called a malicious object, an inauspicious thing, and continuing to worship it will surely. She blinks in surprise when I readily acknowledge the ominous nature of the heavenly lightning banner. I am well aware of the malevolence of the heavenly lightning banner. Therefore, I plan to steal the heavenly lightning banner unnoticed and seal it back in the head realm. Quote. At my words, Yin Wei's expression brightens. Good, that's exactly it. A malicious object of the sect rightfully belongs where it should be sealed. She rightly deserves to be sealed. I ask, noticing she seems to be very familiar with the heavenly lightning banner. It seems you know quite a bit about the heavenly lightning banner. Of course, I know. Back in my days, there was a ritual held every year to summon the spirit within the heavenly lightning banner and transmit its voice to the sect. She smirks as she speaks. Such a pretty talker it was. Really, the moment she was summoned, she would incessantly spew vile curses and slander about the golden divine heavenly thunder sect and the founding ancestor without taking a breath. If that's what the heavenly lightning banner is, how could it not be called a malicious object? And how could anyone dare to worship such a thing as a sacred artifact? Quote. So, there was an incident like that. I nod. Anyway, that's why one of my goals is to steal the heavenly lightning banner someday and seal it in the head realm. Would you be able to help me with that in the future? Well, even if I wanted to help, I'm currently clinging to Yi and Jin's body, barely keeping alive. So it seems difficult. There's no need for you to help directly. After all, what I need is something else. Since it must be sealed in the head realm, please tell me how to descend to the head realm. It's about how exactly we can return to that place we had ascended from. She speaks as if it is nothing. It's easy to go to that world we ascended from. You just need to reach the heavenly being stage. Excuse me, when you reach the heavenly being stage, you'll naturally know how to get there. How exactly you need to go? Well, if you want to go before reaching the heavenly being stage, you'll need another method. If there's a being in the head realm acting the same way as you, or a being with the same will as you trying the same thing, the homogeneity between you can draw you together. So, if there's an attraction of fate, I can descend to the head realm again. Right, if there's such an attraction of fate, you don't necessarily need to be at the heavenly being stage. Entering any void spirit pond or flying immortal platform can take you down to the head realm. Quote. I'll keep that in mind. I must reach the heavenly being stage as soon as possible. I steel my heart and finally ask what I am most curious about. Could you tell me what happened to the golden divine heavenly thunder sect 40,000 years ago? No. Quote. I'm taken aback by her firm rejection, not expecting such a resolute refusal. However, seeing her intent tumultuously stirring, I nod. This must be a taboo topic for her. Let's slowly find out about that matter. Well, if that's the case, I guess I've learned roughly what I wanted to know for today. Thank you for your cooperation. You really won't hand me and Yi and Jin over to Jin Bayak-ho? Didn't I swear upon my nascent soul? A cultivator swearing upon their nascent soul carries significant enforceability, a method sometimes used when cultivators make promises to each other. I've seen too many extraordinary fellows breaking their oaths sworn upon their nascent souls in my lifetime. How could I, a junior, break a promise made to my senior? Kiki, strictly speaking, I'm not your senior. I'm a disciple who was abolished by the ancestral command. Honestly, even if you capture me and hand me over to Jin Bayak-ho right now, it wouldn't be a problem according the internal rules. I see. However, I shake my head. But then, wouldn't Yi and Jin, your descendant, be unfairly implicated by association? It's not just for you, senior, but also for the sake of the new disciple, Yi and Jin. Quote. Thanks. Yi and Wei bows her head to me in gratitude. After that, she seems to think our conversation is over and disappears into Yi and Jin's consciousness. A little while later, Yi and Jin comes to his senses and regains control of his body. Ah, Elder, did you have a conversation with my ancestor? Yes. Don't worry about being discovered by Supreme Sect Master Jin Baek Ho, I'll ensure your safety. Quote. Exclamation mark. Thank you, Elder. I watch Yi and Jin express his gratitude and then dismiss him. Yi and Jin bows to me and slowly leaves my cave residence. Heavenly Being Stage. I must reach the Heavenly Being Stage. If I reach the Heavenly Being Stage, even if Jin Baek Ho holds the Heavenly Lightning Banner, I might stand a chance. Then, I can confidently descend to the head realm with the Heavenly Lightning Banner and seal it. The condition for fully mastering the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens is being expelled by the sect. My gaze inadvertently shifts to the skull containing the 6 extremes Yin Thunder Spirit given to me by Heo Gwak. Single quote. Black Ghost Valley, Chapter 237, What is a Human 5. Jaeon Myung-hoon opens his eyes and looks up at the sky. Things that he couldn't see before are now visible to him. The rough outline of his lifespan, some new kind of energy. That's celestial energy. Jin Chan had said that as he continues to cultivate, this celestial energy and fate will become even clearer to him. So this is Chi refining 7th star. He is filled with hope, his heart swelling. After spending 10 years performing the 7 stars ritual, he has finally reached Chi refining 7th star. From now on, not only can he find a dual cultivation partner, he was also told that there will be no more rituals like this for cultivation until reaching the core formation stage. From here on, it's smooth sailing. A giant centipede passes by in front of the hopeful Jaeon Myung-hoon. Ah, Hong Fan, it's Hong Fan. However, Hong Fan merely nods slightly at Jaeon Myung-hoon before flying off somewhere. Busy. Jaeon Myung-hoon tilts his head at the sight of the busy-looking Hong Fan. A little while later, yeah, save me, I don't taste good. He sees Hong Fan biting a girl with half-white, half-black hair, who seems to be a chi-building green lightning disciple, flying off somewhere. Wait, is that a guy? Jaeon Myung-hoon is momentarily confused about whether Yi and Jin, who is screaming while being carried away, is a man or a woman. An interesting fellow. Jaeon Myung-hoon chuckles, finding the appearance of Yi and Jin who screams at the mere sight of Hong Fan amusing. Well, since Hong Fan seems busy, it will be nice to meet up later. Just when he turns around, Jaeon Myung-hoon, Jin Sohae flies over with the flying escape technique and calls out to Jaeon Myung-hoon. Your dual cultivation partner will be decided now. Ah, is that so? Jaeon Myung-hoon nods. Jin Sohae is a bit puzzled by Jaeon Myung-hoon's demeanor. The guy who used to walk around with, I want a dual cultivation partner, written all over his face, why is he so calm? And she soon gets her answer. Sohae, could you become my dual cultivation partner? Jin Sohae furrows her brows slightly. She has always thought of Jaeon Myung-hoon as a younger brother and never as the opposite sex, so it's a somewhat surprising proposal for her. However, Jaeon Myung-hoon's expression is serious. For the past 10 years, I honestly thought everyone was avoiding me. The only people who talked to me were Hong Fan, you, and a few others. He continues. Honestly, it was a bit tough for the past 10 years, and I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't been there. Is that why you want to become dual cultivation partners? That's not the only reason. Seriousness fills Jaeon Myung-hoon's eyes. Jin Sohae's eyes light up. He's different from before. Over the last 10 years, while I thought I was being betrayed, I realized that everyone in the sect was actually working for me for my sake. So, I think I understand what it means for the sect to feel like a family. If I form a dual cultivation partnership, it will really feel more like a family. But Sohae, Jaeon Myung-hoon cautiously expresses his true feelings. If I'm really going to become a part of this family, I want to become a real family through you. Jin Sohae looks at Jaeon Myung-hoon. Is it because of the pain and bitterness experienced over the years? Or because of the experience of having all that bitterness washed away at once? His somewhat changed demeanor intrigues her. Has he really changed? Somehow, Jin Sohae is curious. If a person can change, how much can Jaeon Myung-hoon change? He is Jaeon Myung-hoon, who from the first day had not even learned the basic manners and had been rebuked by the elders of the sect for speaking nonsense, and who had been taught etiquette by her. The fact that such a person has become so earnest is beyond her comprehension. She's curious. If Jaeon Myung-hoon can change, to what extent can he change? After pondering, Jin Sohae smiles. Alright, I'll agree to become dual cultivation partners. Quote! But not Dao companions. That I will decide when I really think you're okay. Thank you for giving me a chance. Jaeon Myung-hoon smiles back at Jin So-hae. That day, Jaeon Myung-hoon was able to form a partnership with Jin So-hae. Jin Byuk-ho seemed somewhat displeased, but could not oppose Jin So-hae's decision anyway. And about a month passed. Sigh. Jaeon Myung-hoon takes a deep breath in his cave residence. Wo-wang. A pure white light shines from around Jaeon Myung-hoon's dantian. Chi refining 13th star, the stage of unified origin. Finally, Kuring. The mass of spiritual energy formed in Jaeon Myung-hoon's dantian explodes, and he reaches Chi refining 14th star, the stage of infinite spiritual cloud. Kuring. Kururung. Surrounded by faint thunderclouds, Jaeon Myung-hoon stands up. Finally, I've reached the peak of Chi refining. Is it thanks to starting dual cultivation with Jin So-hae? Or is it because there's no force arbitrarily blocking Jaeon Myung-hoon in the remaining stages? Jaeon Myung-hoon quickly broke through from Chi refining 7th star to 14th star in a month with the innate talent of the heavenly golden thunder body. Compared to 10 years ago, when he was fumbling around not even knowing the terminology of cultivation, it is a tremendous progress. Jaeon Myung-hoon. Have you finally reached it? Outside Jaeon Myung-hoon's cave residence, Jin So-hae walks in and asks. Jaeon Myung-hoon nods and smiles. Yes, now I can even enter Chi building. Oh, then you're about to advance to Chi building. No, I'll enter Chi building tomorrow. I'm a bit tired from breaking through to the 14th star today. Alright, you've worked hard. Jin So-hae naturally pushes over Jaeon Myung-hoon. But, aren't you going to help with my cultivation? Of course, I'll help. After a while, the two begin their dual cultivation. A few hours later, Jaeon Myung-hoon comes out of his cave residence with a slightly drained face. I wonder if it'll get better once I enter Chi building. Damn, he looks up at the sky. Tomorrow, he is going to enter the Chi building stage. He doesn't think for a moment he will fail. Jaeon Myung-hoon thinks of Seo Eun-yeon. Wait for me, Seo Eun-yeon. I'll catch up to you soon. With his competitive spirit ignited, Jaeon Myung-hoon then heads around the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, visiting friends who had looked after him over the past 10 years. Once he enters Chi building, aside from Jin So-hae and Hong Fan, Jaeon Myung-hoon and the others can no longer remain just friends. That's why Jaeon Myung-hoon makes a point of visiting them for one last time. He knows that not only they but the entire sect had been supporting him, yet these friends are especially dear to him for being by his side over the last 10 years. Jaeon Myung-hoon looks around at those who had been there for him and walks back to his cave residence. Just then, Hong Fan. Jaeon Myung-hoon shouts upon seeing Hong Fan swimming between the peaks of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect from afar. Hong Fan's gaze turns towards Jaeon Myung-hoon. Ah, how have you been? To think you are about to reach Chi building. Truly, Sir Myung-hoon's talent far surpasses the likes of others. It's fine, no need to flatter. Your talent is tremendous too. But anyway, Jaeon Myung-hoon says to Hong Fan. Your master, the elder. I'd like to visit them after entering Chi building. Is that alright? Are you planning to enter Chi building tomorrow? That's the plan. Then you might have to wait a bit. If it's tomorrow, my master is also advancing to a new stage. Your master is in the early stage of nascent soul, right? Then, he must be advancing to the mid-stage this time. However, Hong Fan shakes his head. No, my master will advance to the grand perfection of nascent soul tomorrow. Oh, I see. He was in the late stage of nascent soul. Jaeon Myung-hoon quickly accepts this and feels a deep respect for Hong Fan's master. If they're reaching grand perfection tomorrow, the heavenly being stage isn't far off. Becoming a grand elder soon isn't just a dream. After reaching the Chi building stage, I'll visit them after they have reached the grand perfection of nascent soul. Yes, that would be appropriate. Then, I'll visit tomorrow. Thank you for planning to visit. After making a promise with Hong Fan, Jaeon Myung-hoon ponders to himself as he returns to his cave residence. I wonder if Seo Eun-yeon has reached the peak early stage of nascent soul. I need to speed up. When Jaeon Myung-hoon arrives at his cave residence, Jin So-hae is there to greet him. Since you'll be entering Chi building tomorrow, let's gather energy in advance today. Wait, So-hae, more than that, I think I need to relax to relieve some fatigue. Quiet, come in quickly. Jaeon Myung-hoon, pale-faced, is dragged into the deeper part of the cave residence by her. The next day arrives. Jaeon Myung-hoon, sitting cross-legged on the peak above his cave residence, absorbs the thunderclouds of the accumulating lightning technique swirling around him. Ha! The thunderclouds rotate around him, seeping into his body. Simultaneously, a pure white light bursts from the center of his dantian. Spiritual energy star. Chi building first constellation, the Horn Star. Now, I'm in Chi building. At the same time, Jaeon Myung-hoon sees thunderclouds storming in the sky above. What's that? Then, blue lightning bears its fangs towards Jaeon Myung-hoon. Kururung. A pillar of light strikes down upon him. However, Jaeon Myung-hoon smiles within the pillar of light. Heavenly tribulation. Endowed with a talent beloved by even the heavenly tribulation, the heavenly golden thunder body. Blue lightning is being absorbed into Jaeon Myung-hoon's body. While doing so, Jaeon Myung-hoon finally understands how to elevate his talent of the heavenly golden thunder body. So, I don't necessarily have to transform it into spiritual power for cultivation. I can store the heavenly tribulation inside my body and release it immediately when needed, using it as an offensive weapon in emergencies. For Jaeon Myung-hoon, the heavenly tribulation is both a tonic and a dharma treasure. He stores the blue lightning deep within himself. This blue lightning will serve as a weapon to protect Jaeon Myung-hoon in times of crisis. Kugugugugu. Simultaneously, Jaeon Myung-hoon confirms that a subtle but pure spiritual force is flowing throughout his entire body. Now, unless one of his 3 dantians are completely destroyed, he will not easily die. Feeling the life force flowing like a torrent through his meridians, a smile blooms on Jaeon Myung-hoon's face. Done. Finally, I won't lose to Sohei. Of course, he doesn't express his inner thoughts outwardly, but stands up and says. Now, then, once Hong Fan's master completes their breakthrough. Just then, Kurururung. Jaeon Myung-hoon hastily turns his gaze towards the place where an immense aura of heavenly tribulation is gathering. That is, literally, it is a bombardment of heavenly lightning. The rain of lightning bolts, incomparable to what Jaeon Myung-hoon had faced, is striking down under the lightning clouds in the distance. Kururung. In the late nascent soul stage, as long-lived as the 5 great mountains, one must intertwine the 5 elements into one. From this stage, even those with heavenly spiritual roots can accept dharma treasures of different attributes into their bodies, making it possible to handle the 5 elements. Then, for the demon race who accept the usual 5 elements energy and accumulate murky energy to convert life force into demonic power, is it easier to reach the stage of the 5 great mountains compared to a typical cultivator of the heaven tribe? No, on the contrary, because their energy is murky, they have to perfectly separate the 5 elements to reach the late stage of nascent soul. When heaven tribe cultivators reach the late nascent soul stage, the absolute majority are those with heavenly spiritual roots. If it takes time to acquire and refine the 5 elements dharma treasures, earth tribe cultivators spend time separating the 5 elements they already possess. But then, what happens if among the heaven tribe cultivators, someone born with the 5 elements spiritual roots learns a heaven tribe cultivation method for the 5 elements and reaches the mid-nascent soul stage? Kugugugugu. I smile, watching the power of the 5 elements rotating within me. As expected, during my chi refining days, I wished to break through my cultivation by mastering all 5 elements to reach chi building. I remember mastering the entire basic chi refining method, the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation, to break through into chi building. At this moment, Wo-wang, I observe the spiritual power of the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation ferociously rotating inside me, embodying the transformations of the 5 elements. Based on the 5 surpassing paths to cultivation, the 5 elements enduring origin scripture from the Azure Spirit Starlight Quintessence Great Method that transformed into a Demon Beast method is divided into the 5 elements. The balance of the 5 elements is perfectly maintained by the physique of 5 energies converging to the origin. And then, at some point, Guang, as the nascent soul splits into yin and yang spirits, the 5 elements rotate around it. Finally, the rotating energy of the 5 elements flows into the nascent soul. Simultaneously, I feel a writhing energy in the sky. The late nascent soul stage heavenly tribulation, Come on, then, I'm no longer afraid of the likes of you. When transitioning from the core formation to the nascent soul stage, 1 bolt of golden heavenly lightning strikes. From early to mid-nascent soul, 2 bolts of golden heavenly lightning strike. And from mid to late nascent soul, 3 bolts of golden heavenly lightning strike. Of course, I also have to face an additional blue lightning bolt for each stage, making a total of 6 bolts of heavenly lightning that I have to withstand. Kurururung. The dual-colored heavenly lightning strikes me. But for me, Who is breaking through realms simultaneously using both heaven and earth tribe methods? This level of heavenly tribulation is entirely bearable. After being struck 3 times by the dual-colored heavenly lightning. Kugugugu. Finally, I move beyond the mid-stage of nascent soul to the late, the stage of as long-lived as the 5 great mountains. But, this is not the end. To reach grand perfection, I close my eyes, lifting my nascent soul to the upper dantian, and expel it through the Baihui point on my head. My nascent soul appears divided in the center by the axis of yin and yang spirits, with the 5 elements taking their places in the 5 directions within me. This appearance had a certain peculiar auspiciousness, but on the other hand, it seemed somewhat artificial and unnatural. This unnaturalness, I will make it natural. Right upper moon yin diagram. Seated in a cross-legged position, I raise my right hand. From my nascent soul, the yin spirit separates and gathers behind me to the right, forming the moon. Left upper sun yang diagram. I lower my right hand and raise my left hand. The yang spirit separates and gathers behind me to the left, forming the sun. I feel a longing from the ancient past in the sun and moon of yin and yang. Mother, father, mom, dad, yin and yang are the origins of existence. I will never forget this. Imperial throne 5 great mountains diagram. Finally, the remaining 5 elements and 5 directions transform into 5 clusters of light, forming 5 great mountains behind me. The 5 great mountains serve as the imperial throne, preparing a seat for its master. Thus, behind me, the perfect map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains is established. The Azure Spirit Starlight Quintessence Great Method achieves perfect balance with the map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains. Now, it begins. Anyone who has reached the late stage of nascent soul can do this much. The journey to grand perfection of nascent soul starts now. The map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains laid out behind me is my nascent soul, unfolded. Maintaining this state of nascent soul, I separate my consciousness once again. Wo Wang, I unravel my consciousness. The wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon aids in this process. My consciousness completely scatters in all directions, blurrily submerging everything around me. Now, in this state, I need to gather my consciousness in front of me relying on a single representation. The formless sword aids in this process. I become the sword, unifying my consciousness. As my momentarily dazed consciousness recovers, I find myself facing me, and the map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains. I am the sword, but at the same time, I am Xiao Unyun. Step. With one step, I gradually transform from the sword into a human form. Step. With 2 steps, I almost fully return to human form alongside the landscape where yin and yang merge. Step. With 3 steps, I witness the whirlwind of countless laws and the flow of the world, seeing a faint glow circling my now human-formed body. Step. With 4 steps, I see 28 stars swirling around me. Step. With 5 steps, the stars gather to reveal a magnificent scene resembling the marketplace of the commoners, the palace of the officials, and the court of the king. Soon, the stars reveal a complete heavenly city diagram, painting an infinite universe. And then, at the edge of the universe, I see my body shining gloriously, bathed in starlight. In the distance, I see my flesh and the map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains behind it. All I have to do is sit on the imperial throne of the map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains. Step, step, step. Step by step, I continue walking towards the throne. No matter how much I walk, the throne does not seem to get any closer. I walk frantically, endlessly. But the throne does not get any closer. However, the stars passing by behind me indicate I am moving forward. Gradually, the stars begin to pass faster and faster. And at some point, the stars become memories. Just like the first time I reached the nascent soul stage, I traverse the sea of memories, revisiting my life in reverse. The more I delve into the memories, the closer the map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains begins to appear. 2,500 years worth of memories pass by me. I try to glimpse into the memories of the 16th cycle of 500 years, but for some reason, all memories of the 16th cycle are blacked out and unreadable. Someday, I will reclaim those memories. Then, I arrive at a familiar scene. The scene of my parents giving birth to me. It's the same as before. However, I see something different this time. The figures of my parents gradually grow larger. Eventually, their figures become so immense that they transform into one concept. Heaven and earth. Ah, so that's it. I couldn't understand why Qi and life took the form of Taiji. But now I finally realize. I wasn't simply born from my parents. My parents are said to be the concept of heaven and earth. The stone monkey living on Mount Wagwo, who had no birth parents, called heaven and earth its parents. Since the parents of all life are ultimately represented by the world itself, which is heaven and earth, life is yin and yang, and thus taiji. Understanding this concept, I finally reach the map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains. The map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains isn't complete in itself. It only becomes complete when its master sits on the throne. The map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains is the nascent soul itself. Then, who is the master of the nascent soul? Who is the me, present at this very moment? As I take my place on that seat, I realize. I am life. The life of Seo Un-yun itself, materialized as a spirit. As I sit on the throne, the map of the sun, moon, and 5 great mountains is completed. The unfolded nascent soul returns to its original form, thus becoming complete. Wo Wang, the nascent soul returned to its original place through the Baihui point. Simultaneously, the sky erupts with heavenly tribulation, Kurururung. This time, I have to face a total of 8 strikes of dual-colored heavenly lightning. Kwang, I open my eyes to the first dual-colored lightning bolt. Kwang, I stand up at the second dual-colored heavenly lightning. Kwang, I look up at the sky at the third dual-colored heavenly lightning. The heavenly lightning cannot harm me. Because I have completed the true nascent soul spirit. The final heavenly tribulation. Flash, I raise my hand. From the completed nascent soul, a tremendous force erupts from my hand, pushing up against the heavenly tribulation. Zhejiang, it isn't the formless sword. It is simply pure force itself. The force emanating from my hand splits the heavenly tribulation and shoots into the sky, piercing a palm-shaped hole in the lightning cloud that was bringing down the heavenly tribulation, tearing apart the heavens. Kugugugu. Finally, after 2,500 years, I have finally come close to reaching the heavenly being stage. Chapter 238. What is a human? 6. After ascending to the grand perfection nascent soul stage, I sit down to stabilize my realm and contemplate the interior of my body. Shortly thereafter, numerous dim lights rapidly pour toward my cave residence from all directions. They are the grand elders and elders of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. At the center of them is Jin Baek-ho. What is this? Surprise is evident in Jin Baek-ho's eyes. I am currently revealing the aura emanating from my realm, making it clear to everyone through this oppressive force what cultivation I have achieved. Upon realizing that I have reached nascent soul grand perfection, the eyes of many grand elders and elders widened in astonishment. Quote quote, quote quote, quote quote. Paradoxically, despite everyone's faces being filled with shock, the surroundings are incredibly quiet and calm. But at this moment, I am momentarily dazed by the extremely tumultuous intense. Literally, the intents of the elders, grand elders, and Jin Baek-ho are wildly surging. And finally, one of the grand elders at the heavenly being stage begin to cry out suddenly. Ancestors. Following this grand elder, a majority of the grand elders and elders begin to cry out one after another, their faces filled with emotional fervor. Could it be that emotions are contagious? Even Jin Baek-ho's eyes seem to redden a bit. Step. He does not float in front of me but lands down. Jin Baek-ho approaches me, grabs my shoulders, and bows his head deeply. You are the future of our sect. It is not tears of sorrow, but tears of overwhelming joy that uncontrollably burst forth. This is happening across the entire leading figures of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. Everyone, listen, Jin Baek-ho shouts loudly. Here, Seo Un-yun has succeeded in mastering all of the more than 10,000 methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. However, for some reason, he was left unable to use the Lightning Path method. Nonetheless, as you have seen, Seo Un-yun has overcome even that with his prodigious talent and reached the grand perfection nascent soul stage in a short period. Everyone listen, Jin Baek-ho declares firmly. I, Jin Baek-ho, with the authority of the Supreme Sect Master, nominate Elder Seo Un-yun as the next sect leader. Quote. Suddenly, at Jin Baek-ho's words, the Grand Elders also begin to shout one by one. Current sect leader Jin Min also nominates Elder Seo Un-yun. I, Vice Sect Leader Jin He, also nominate Elder Seo Un-yun. I, Grand Elder Jin Chan, also agree. Numerous Grand Elders nominate me at the same time, and the Elders also agree. Thus, I am unanimously appointed as the next sect leader. When the current sect leader Jin Min resigns, the next sect leader Jin Jin Chan will take over, and afterward, the sect leader position will be entrusted to Seo Eun Yun, the succeeding sect leader. And, from today onwards, to Elder Seo Eun Yun, who is now qualified to be the next sect leader. Wo Wang, Jin Baek-ho stretches his hand into the air. His hand, performing a 4-axis stage technique, connects through space to somewhere inside the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, taking out a golden belt. It's a golden belt inscribed with the characters for Golden Lightning. I bestow upon him the surname Jin, symbolizing the qualification of the sect leader. Jin Baek-ho, with a look of pride, hands me the golden belt, saying, "Take it, from now on, you are Jin Eun Yun." Thus, by accepting the belt, I became Jin Eun Yun, the next sect leader of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. The birth of Jin Eun Yun, a genius who inherited everything from the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, soon spreads throughout the entire sect and all of the Sky Islands. Enhart vs. Epsilon LBN, elevating stories, elevating minds. Jin Baek-ho decided to hold a celebration 1 month later to confirm Jin Eun Yun's appointment as the next sect leader and sent invitations to other human sects across each Sky Island. Many responded to the invitation. Moreover, the invitation even mentioned that grand cultivators at the integration stage would dispatch their avatars to attend. Many are amazed and look up to Jin Eun Yun. Except for Jaeon Myung-hoon. "What's the matter, Sir Myung-hoon?" Jaeon Myung-hoon remains silent, watching the giant centipede, Hong Fan, who is smoking a long bamboo pipe in front of him. "Didn't you say you wanted to meet my master?" "Ah, right, I did." Jaeon Myung-hoon, with a blank expression, looks towards the cave residence behind Hong Fan. It's a cave residence familiar to Jaeon Myung-hoon. He has never entered it, but it belongs to someone he has been aware of for the last 10 years. When he told Hong Fan that he wanted to meet his master, Hong Fan readily took Jaeon Myung-hoon and headed towards a cave residence, filling him with anticipation. The sight of the entire sect's grand elders and elders flying towards the place struck by numerous heavenly tribulations is unforgettable. Jaeon Myung-hoon had caught the eye of such a promising elder and received help through Hong Fan for 10 years. Perhaps, in the future, this soon-to-be, grand elder, he and Jaeon Myung-hoon would lead the sect together. However, Hong Fan had brought him to Seo Eun Yun's cave residence. At first, he hesitated, unable to comprehend the situation. Then came denial. He thought perhaps the elder who had just reached the grand perfection of nascent soul happened to visit Seo Eun Yun's cave residence. But Hong Fan confirmed it for him. "This is the residence of my master, Seo Eun Yun." That was the situation until just moments ago. Seo Eun Yun, already at nascent soul grand perfection. When Jaeon Myung-hoon barely reached Chi building, Seo Eun Yun had already reached nascent soul grand perfection. He stands in front of the cave residence, incredulous for a while. He feels incredibly insignificant for being happy about reaching Chi building. While I have reached the Chi building stage, Seo Eun Yun is already on the verge of becoming a heavenly being. Is my heavenly golden thunder body not as good in quality as the lightning sacred body? He wants to deny reality. Beyond the interior of the cave residence, outside it, he wants to believe that the owner of the vast consciousness enveloping the entire peak is not Seo Eun Yun. Crunch, but it is reality, and Jaeon Myung-hoon, gritting his teeth, walks into the interior of the cave residence. Step. Jaeon Myung-hoon's steps are heavy, but he does not stop. The original Jaeon Myung-hoon. If it were the Jaeon Myung-hoon of the previous world, he would never have entered under such circumstances. He would have simply denied reality or compromised with it, passing it off as hidden talent or good fortune. He would never have gone to meet his rival. He would never have tried to acknowledge his rival. That is what the original Jaeon Myung-hoon would have done. But, Jaeon Myung-hoon finally stands before Seo Eun Yun, who is sitting cross-legged, stabilizing his cultivation. Despite being in the same sect, it's been quite a while since we last saw each other. Jaeon Myung-hoon silently nods in response to Seo Eun Yun's words. Seo Eun Yun flicks his hand. At his gesture, a storage scroll unfolds beside Seo Eun Yun, and a small cushion comes out, landing in front of Jaeon Myung-hoon. Soon after, teacups and a teapot, among other tea utensils, slides out from the storage scroll. Sit down. Jaeon Myung-hoon silently takes a seat. With a flick of Seo Eun Yun's hand, the teapot moves in midair, tea leaves enter the pot, and droplets condense and start boiling inside it. Shortly after, Seo Eun-yun pours the tea in front of Jeon Myung-hoon. This is Fate's Palm Tea. Just smelling its aroma can enhance spiritual power. For those below core formation, it triples cultivation speed for 3 days, and for chi building, it increases cultivation speed for a month. It'll be useful for you, who has just entered chi building. Jeon Myung-hoon briefly holds the teacup, closes his eyes tightly, and drinks the tea. Without showing any signs of enjoying its fragrance or flavor, he gulps down the hot tea like a strong liquor and then speaks. Thank you for this precious tea, Elder Seo. And Jeon Myung-hoon's formal speech seems to surprise Seo Eun-yun, whose eyebrows twitch in response. What are you feeling? Jeon Myung-hoon bites his lip for a moment. Then slowly, yet clearly looking into Seo Eun-yun's eyes, he speaks. I've decided to acknowledge it. Me, you, no, he says, clenching his fist. The fact that I have been lazy in my cultivation all this time. Surely, we came from the same world, we're colleagues, and are the same humans. But Elder Seo, you are already at that realm, and I, who has been told to possess a mythical talent, am still only at the chi building stage. Once, my dual cultivation partner told me that true cultivators devoted to the Tao do not even sleep or eat, dedicating themselves endlessly to cultivation. At that time, I disagreed, thinking that wasn't a life befitting a human. But, Jeon Myung-hoon looks directly into Seo Eun-yun's eyes. Now, I see that I might have been lazier than you. I am ashamed of myself. From now on, I will dedicate myself endlessly to cultivating to surpass you. Only after I've surpassed your realm, only after I've surpassed your position, will I treat you as an equal again. A glint appears in Seo Eun-yun's eyes. It's surprising that you could change like this. Thank you for the teachings through Hong Fan all this time. I will take my leave now. All right. At Seo Eun-yun's words, Jeon Myung-hoon stands up, bows to him, and leaves the cave residence without hesitation. Jeon Myung-hoon leaves Seo Eun-yun's cave residence, steps completely out of the domain of Seo Eun-yun's consciousness, and finally takes a deep breath. Phew, his back is covered in cold sweat. He has acknowledged Seo Eun-yun. It is different from 10 years ago. But as much as Jeon Myung-hoon acknowledges Seo Eun-yun, he recalls the times he had tormented Seo Eun-yun. Fortunately, it seems like he doesn't care much. Since Seo Eun-yun barely showed any feelings towards him, Jeon Myung-hoon sighs in relief internally. Honestly, I thought I would get beaten up a few times. Jeon Myung-hoon himself was ready to be hit as he had boldly shouted at Seo Eun-yun. However, Seo Eun-yun kept watching him with a clear gaze throughout, without saying much. If it was the old him, he wouldn't have been able to hold back his laughter. It really seemed like he had no feelings. Jeon Myung-hoon thinks of Seo Eun-yun's eyes. That guy seems to have changed a lot from before. Like I've changed over 10 years, has he also changed? He smiles wryly, shaking his head after a moment of thought. Forget it, it's time to stop worrying about him. For 10 years, he has always been compared to Seo Eun-yun. And finally, as Seo Eun-yun reached the grand perfection stage of the nascent soul, approaching the status of a grand elder, Jeon Myung-hoon has only just reached the position of a mere junior disciple. From now on, I'll stop worrying about Seo Eun-yun and trust and follow my own path. He decides to surpass Seo Eun-yun with a pure competitive spirit, without any more feelings of inferiority. With this resolve, he returns to his own cave residence and dedicates himself to cultivation. So, for about a day or two, he remains unwavering in his resolve. Until Jin Baek-ho announces to the entire sect about the next sect leader, Jin Eun-yun. Damn it, the next sect leader. Jeon Myung-hoon, emerging from his cave residence with a sullen face, turns red with anger. His master, Jin Chan, is a promising young 921-year-old grand elder and the next sect leader. And Jin Chan has always told him to the point it became a mantra. You must succeed me as the sect leader of the sect. Wake up and get your act together. You may be below Seo Eun-yun now, but I swear on all the myths and honors of the heavenly golden thunder body, I will make you the sect leader. Even on the day he successfully performed the 7 stars ritual. I believed in you. From now on, your cultivation will improve rapidly and you will truly be the one to succeed me. Jeon Myung-hoon subconsciously thought that even if Seo Eun-yun became an elder or even a grand elder, he couldn't become the sect leader. Yang Su-jin, who possessed the heavenly golden thunder body, is the god of the golden divine heavenly thunder sect, and Jeon Myung-hoon is like the gods incarnate. Naturally, Jaeon Myung-hoon firmly believed he would ascend to the highest position in the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. Even though I'm currently below Seo Eun-yun, the sect leader will be me. But now, even if he becomes the sect leader, he will only be the next sect leader after Seo Eun-yun. He can never surpass Seo Eun-yun within the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. Damn it all, Seo Eun-yun. The resolve Jaeon Myung-hoon had made 2 days ago to surpass Seo Eun-yun with a pure competitive spirit flies right out of his head. I will surpass him, definitely. Crackle, crackling, crackle, crackle. The accumulating lightning technique, the first technique of the 7 lightning quaking scripture that Jaeon Myung-hoon began to learn after reaching the chi building stage, reacts to his inferiority complex and emits even redder lightning. 1 month later, the celebration for the next sect leader Jin Eun-yun is held, and countless sects send envoys to congratulate him. This includes not only sects from Thunder Spirit Island but also representative sects from other sky islands in the Cloud Island archipelago, as well as several grand cultivators at the integration stage who dispatch their avatars. Please accept this, future sect leader. Ah, thank you. I express my gratitude to the representatives of the leading sects from other sky islands who came to congratulate me. And, to the representative of Azure Spirit Island, Azure Tiger Saint, who pours me a drink. Azure Tiger Saint laughs heartily and slaps my back vigorously. I've felt this way before, but I really should have kidnapped you to our Azure Heaven Creation sect. Ha ha ha, what do you say? Any thoughts on joining our Azure Heaven Creation sect? I regret not being able to join the Azure Heaven Creation sect. However, the grace I have received from the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect is profound, so I'm afraid I must decline that offer. I smile and converse with Azure Tiger Saint. Hearing our conversation, Jin Baek-ho glares at Azure Tiger Saint and shouts. Thirsty. Alright, let me pour you a drink. Azure Tiger Saint laughs and pours a drink for Jin Baek-ho as well. After drinking the alcohol poured by Azure Tiger Saint, Jin Baek-ho exclaims with a flushed face. What nonsense are you speaking? The future sect leader Jin Eun-yun is the treasure of our sect, and coveting him will be considered a challenge against me. Quarring, 7-colored lightning bursts forth from Jin Baek-ho's body and strikes Azure Tiger Saint. Ha ha ha, this guy's old temperament is showing again. Thump, thump. Azure Tiger Saint laughs heartily while hitting Jin Baek-ho's belly a few times, and Jin Baek-ho, clutching his stomach, takes a few steps back before rushing at Azure Tiger Saint and grappling him into the sky. The 2 highest-ranking seniors of their sects, having drunk potent spiritual alcohol, suddenly begin a friendly duel while intoxicated. They're at it again. Haha, my apologies for the unsightly behavior. However, Azure Tiger Saint, Jin Baek-ho, and White Bone Ghost Devil have been friends since their youth, so they tend to behave like this. The envoy from the Azure Heaven Creation sect apologetically pours me another drink on behalf of Azure Tiger Saint. I see, but do you know why the Black Ghost Valley hasn't come? I ask the envoy from the Azure Heaven Creation sect, puzzled. He shakes his head with a puzzled expression and says, I'm not sure either. Black Ghost Valley did not send an envoy to my celebration. I've heard that the situation on the Sky Island where Black Ghost Valley is located is a bit unstable. Apparently, Black Ghost Valley, situated in Black Mist Island, is still in the midst of war. Although Black Ghost Valley had successfully ousted the former leading sect, remnants of the old sect are causing trouble everywhere. Hence, Black Ghost Valley is deploying their Nether Crossing ship to quell the disturbances. Rumors have it that Black Ghost Valley is even gathering resources to construct another Nether Crossing ship. Well, they must be busy, I guess. It's regrettable. I had things to discuss with Black Ghost Valley. I nod slightly, feeling a bit disappointed. I wondered if we could enlist their help. I continue conversing with the envoy from the Azure Heaven Creation sect and others, pondering over my thoughts. The envoys sent from countless sky islands represent an opportunity. It's an opportunity to smoothly proceed with the plan to seal the Heavenly Lightning Banner. Among them, it is especially crucial to become acquainted with cultivators from the same head realm. I have no confidence in reaching the Heavenly Being stage before the owner of Heavenly Punishment descends. Therefore, I have no means of descending to the lower realms to seal the Heavenly Lightning Banner in the head realm. But, if I can't descend to the head realm as a Heavenly Being myself, someone else can take me there. The most suitable candidates are Heavenly Being cultivators originating from the same head realm. The target I have in mind is, of course, a Heavenly Being stage cultivator from Black Ghost Valley. Had Black Ghost Valley dispatched an envoy and I met with a heavenly being Grand Elder, I planned to secretly ask for their cooperation and, in return, offer to transfer to Black Ghost Valley. But since Black Ghost Valley is absent from this celebration, it can't be helped. It seems I need to look for an alternative. Just while I am making acquaintances with the envoys. Hey, you! Suddenly, a burst of light flies in from somewhere. The next moment, Kwang! A massive explosion shakes the entire Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Hall where the celebration is being held. Kugugugu, what's going on? Jin Baek Ho, who was dueling with Azure Tiger Saint in the sky, sobers up and descends. However, his eyes widen upon seeing the instigator of the incident. You are, Kugugugu. As the dust cloud settles, I furrow my brows. A woman in black martial attire with a ponytail is extending her fist at me. Tap, tap, I brush off the dust. You are, excellent, to block an attack from this Hunwei dangerous peak. Kugugugu, I immediately assess the cultivation level of the woman who had suddenly attacked me. Heavenly being mid-stage, is she crazy? Even if I am at the grand perfection nascent soul stage, for someone of mid-heavenly being stage to launch such an attack at a lower realm cultivator is. It's practically an attack meant to kill. I frown. And why is Jin Baek Ho suddenly so agitated? Upon the appearance of the woman who calls herself Hunwei, Jin Baek Ho bites his lip, unable to stay still. Even Azure Tiger Saint seems to ponder whether to intervene or not. Is she the daughter of a high-ranking individual? I guess her status. Excuse me, but the Human Race Grand Alliance headquarters did not send anyone and it's unlikely you are from there. Perhaps, are you the child of some distinguished person? Ha ha ha, quick-witted indeed. Yes, I am born from the lineage of a great human race integration stage grand cultivator. She's the daughter of a grand cultivator. I smile slightly. How come someone of your noble lineage has come to me? Enough. However, she abruptly cuts me off. Her following words leave me astonished. Let's get married. Chapter 239. What is a human? 7. Marriage. I am taken aback by the sudden proposal from this woman, but soon I feel a chill settling in my mind. Quote. How could you propose to someone as insignificant as myself? I am merely at the nascent soul, and if you are the daughter of a grand cultivator, surely you can choose a far better match. HMPH. Quiet, I have decided to take you as my husband. Just be quiet and marry me. That's when it happens. Surururu. Hong Su Ryong approached us unnoticed and is now looking at Hunwei with a cold gaze. What an interesting lady. However, Elder Jin here is currently my dual cultivation partner. Hunwei frowns and says. So what? I've decided to marry this guy. You just have to give up being dual cultivation partners, right? Hong Su Ryong looks at Hunwei with an even colder smile. The next moment, flash. Stop it, Grand Elder Hong. Clench. Suddenly, with a flash of lightning, Hong Su Ryong is holding a flying sword pointed at Hunwei. Jin Baek Ho stepped in. Between Hong Su Ryong and Hunwei, grabbing Hong Su Ryong's wrist. Oh my, why didn't you stab a bit more? Hong Su Ryong's flying sword is hardly an inch away from Hunwei's nose, and Jin Baek Ho is sweating. Grand Elder Hong, please calm down and put away your flying sword. And miss, please step back for now. HMPH. Hong Su Ryong sheathes her flying sword and takes a step back. Hunwei snorts and crosses her arms. Little lady, sorry, but your dual cultivation partner is rumored to be the genius of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. I must have him. Is being the daughter of an integration stage grand cultivator everything? What right do you have to take my partner as if he's an object? Hong Su Ryong asks with a frosty look. Hunwei unfolds her arms and straightens her posture. Right, I've been too brief in my introduction. Hunwei doesn't look at Hong Su Ryong but turns to me and says. My father currently holds the position of the Guardian Grand Cultivator at the Heaven-Earth Palace. Guardian Grand Cultivator of the Heaven-Earth Palace. The Heaven-Earth Palace is where the flying immortal platform that lower realm cultivators reach when ascending is located. The Heaven-Earth Palace alternates management between the Heaven Tribe and Earth Tribe every 5,000 years. To protect against attacks from the Heart Tribe, True Devils, Blood Yin Realm Heavenly Fiends, and Nether Ghost Realm monsters, many 4-axis stage cultivators reside in the Heaven-Earth Palace, guarding it. To manage these 4-axis cultivators, the Heaven and Earth tribes appoint an integration stage grand cultivator as the Palace Lord of the Heaven-Earth Palace whenever it's their turn. Thus, those who become the palace lord of the Heaven-Earth Palace take on the duties and responsibilities associated with the palace, including responding to unexpected attacks or when strange creatures ascend from the lower realms. Due to these responsibilities, the palace lord is often referred to as the guardian grand cultivator rather than by their official title. In short, it seems that Hun Wei's father was the one holding the position of palace lord of the Heaven-Earth Palace when we first ascended. The Grand Cultivator who didn't show up when Mad Lord first kidnapped the 4-axis stage cultivator from the Heaven-Earth Palace is Hun Wei's father. Thinking about it, if Hun Wei's father had rushed to capture the Mad Lord when the Wooden Man was kidnapped, the Mad Lord could have been cured of his madness right there and then. But for some reason, the Palace Lord of the Heaven-Earth Palace never showed up until the end, allowing the Mad Lord to escape freely and eventually evolve the wonderfully mysterious fortress to its limits. In retrospect, the reason the Mad Lord could ravage the bright cold realm for 1,000 years was partly due to her father's negligence. Moreover, my father is also the Palace Lord of the Penglai Palace, one of the top 5 cultivation sects in the human race territory, and I am one of the 21 law enforcers of Penglai Palace. If you marry me, not only will the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect receive support from Penglai Palace, but you will also have the backing of the Palace Lord of the Heaven-Earth Palace. Additionally, I will ask my father to teach you. It's absolutely in your best interest to marry me. If you join Penglai Palace, I will support you in learning the Mount Tai Splitting Emperor technique, a method that only the children and direct disciples of the Penglai Palace Lord can learn. Sighs erupt here and there at her words. Even so, to teach the Mount Tai Splitting Emperor technique to an outsider. Such a formidable will. How many have learned the Mount Tai Splitting Emperor technique other than the direct descendants and direct disciples of the Penglai Palace Lord? I look at those who sigh. The administrator of Thunder Spirit Island and the avatar of the Integration Stage Grand Cultivator, Wei Ryong Son. Followed by the avatars of the Integration Stage Grand Cultivators Ung Yian and Gai Jin, all sighing one after another. Even the Integration Stage Grand Cultivators show such a reaction, indicating the powerful nature of the Mount Tai Splitting Emperor technique. It seems like an Earth attribute method, judging by the name. It would suit me well. If I only consider the benefits I can gain, there's no reason to refuse. However, after cooling my head, I reply with a smile. I'm sorry, miss, but unfortunately, I already have a designated dual cultivation partner assigned by my sect. Currently, I have no intention of marrying anyone else. Her face fills with a competitive spirit. A devoted lover, I see. That makes me want you even more. Are you proposing simply because you want to have me? No, not at all. Seeing you block my attack made me fall hard for you. So let's get married. I observe Hun Wei with clear eyes, and Hong Su Ryong scoffs, turning away from her. Hun Wei smiles at me and says, "It seems you haven't made up your mind yet. In that case, snap." She snaps her fingers, and her storage bag opens beside her. From the storage bag, an immense light begins to pour out. This is. Jin Baek Ho's face turns to shock, and the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect and the congratulatory envoys fly up into the sky in surprise. Goo. From the storage bag, countless spirit stones begin to pour out like a waterfall. The summit of Thunder Cloud Peak, where the Golden Divine Lightning Hall is located, is soon covered in spirit stones. At a glance, the amount of spirit stones exceeds 200 to 300 billion, a staggering quantity. But it doesn't end there. When the spirit stones begin to spill over the summit of Thunder Cloud Peak, Hun Wei's storage bag stops pouring out spirit stones. Mid-grade spirit stones, 100 billion. With this much, your sect's finances should be secure for about 100 years. To someone from Penglai Palace, this is nothing. If you marry me, you will receive infinitely more support. Jin Baek Ho is speechless. I, too, am momentarily taken aback by the overwhelming quantity, letting out a hollow laugh. Is there nothing that wealth can't do? Certainly, it's an amount worth considering. Moreover, if I marry her, the support will be even greater, enough to make any cultivator's heart race. As expected, after seeing the pile of spirit stones, Jin Baek Ho approaches Hun Wei with an even more respectful attitude. Thank you for the support, miss. However, Elder Jin is a pillar of our sect. I'm not asking him to switch his allegiance to Penglai Palace. Simply marry me, and let the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect have frequent exchanges with Penglai Palace. This financial support is a congratulatory gift for Elder Jin Yunyun's appointment as the future sect leader, so accept it without burden. Heyo, Hyok, then, I shall take my leave. I will come to give congratulatory gifts more often in the future, so think it over. To rise from the nascent soul stage to the heavenly being stage, resources are important, but Penglai Palace has even more resources to aid in reaching the understanding needed for the heavenly being stage. With those words, Hunwi gives me a spirited look, then flies away using the flying escape technique. After her short but intense visit, silence lingers in the celebration for a while. That's enviable. Anyway, let's continue with the celebration. Azure Tiger Saint gives a hint to the bewildered Jin Baek Ho, who quickly regains his senses and hastily signals the core formation and other disciples. Then, the disciples swiftly fly around, gathering the spirit stones. Then let's resume the celebration for now. Upon seeing the astonishing cascade of spirit stones, a wave of extravagant congratulations begin pouring in from the representatives of numerous other sects toward Jin Baek Ho. Congratulations on your good fortune. Even if Lady Hun Wei is known to be difficult, she spends generously when needed. If you two become dual cultivation partners, the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect is surely on the road to prosperity. Though she's the naughty daughter of the Grand Cultivator, still, the wealth of Penglai Palace is said to be among the top 2 in the human race territory. What an excellent opportunity. Overwhelmed by the continuous flood of congratulations, Jin Baek Ho seems to be out of his mind. Hong Su Ryong and I exchange glances. She clicks her tongue and says, "She seems like a crazy old bat. Be careful, Jin Eun Yun." She shouted about being smitten and whatnot, but her true intentions were completely different. Yes, I saw it too. I can't help but smile wryly. Had she genuinely confessed her love for me out of sincere affection, even I might have been swayed. However, I remember her aura of intent. It was the kind of intent you'd see from crafty old foxes. She is definitely not an easy opponent. After the celebration, I have a meeting with the elders in the Golden Thunder Hall. So, to the future of our sect, Elder Jin Eun Yun. Congratulations, Jin Baek Ho says, seated on his grand seat. Now, I am also treated as an elder, assigned my own seat in the Golden Divine Lightning Hall. Thank you, Supreme Sect Master. Right, normally, after the celebration, you would be allowed to rest, but there's something I need to discuss. I can well guess what the discussion will be about. About the marriage proposal from Lady Hun Wei, the daughter of the Integration Stage Grand Cultivator Hun Wan, Dangerous Origin, the Palace Lord of the Heaven-Earth Palace. Yes, please speak. First, do any of the elders have information about Lady Hun Wei? Yes, I have quickly looked into it. Grand Elder Jin Chan stands from his seat among the elders to speak. She is one of the 17 children of the Heaven-Earth Palace Lord. The 7th child, to be precise. She is 3,120 years old. However, her talents are somewhat lacking, as she is still only at the mid-heavenly being stage. But she is making progress in her cultivation and is expected to reach the late stage of heavenly being soon. Over 3,000 years old. Jin Baek Ho's eyebrows twitch at that information. That's high. Among those who ascended from the lower realm, unless it's the Sea Dragon King or the Holy Peng King, there's no one in the human race who can surpass her age. Being of the dragon race, Seo Waiol has a basic lifespan well over 4,500 years, and the Holy Peng King of the Peng race exceeds 3,600 years old. However, the lifespan of human race cultivators, even those who reached heavenly being, barely touch 2,500 years. Thus, Hun Wei's age of just over 3,100 years is quite significant compared to those who had ascended from the lower realm. Yes, it seems she has continuously extended her lifespan through longevity fruits and elixirs abundant in the bright cold realm. I see. Is she facing a bottleneck in her cultivation and hoping to overcome it by taking Elder Jin Eun Yun of our sect as her dual cultivation partner? That seems highly likely. Does everyone know about Penglai Palace, to which Lady Hun Wei belongs? The Human Race Grand Alliance currently has 6 leading cultivation sects. First, the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, backed by the Black Dragon King, Hyonium. Second, the Entering Truth Gate, backed by the Integration Stage Grand Cultivator, Gai Jin. Third, the Heavenly Lotus Palace, backed by the Integration Stage Grand Cultivator, Ung Yian. Fourth, the Penglai Palace, backed by the Integration Stage Grand Cultivator, Hun Wan. Fifth, Black Ghost Valley, which has no Grand Cultivator but has an enormous number of disciples, branches across every Sky Island, and a network with the Nether Ghost Realm. Sixth, Yin Soul Ghost Sect, which is in a competitive relationship with Black Ghost Valley and similarly follows devilish cultivation. These 6 sects are the powerful mainstream sects leading the human race Grand Alliance, known as the 6 major sects of the human race. Although we've absorbed Thunder Cloud Pavilion, our sect is still considered a weaker, emerging sect. If we receive support from Penglai Palace, and with the growth of Elder Jin Eun Yun and Jaeon Myong Hoon, who possesses the Heavenly Golden Thunder body, someday, our Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect can surely become the leading sect of the human race. However, Jin Baek Ho's gaze shifts to me and then to Hong Su Ryong. The important thing is the will of Elder Jin and Grand Elder Hong. For starters, what does Grand Elder Hong think? What's there to say? Hong Su Ryong replies with a sneer. I have no intention of giving my dual cultivation partner to that dimwit who, despite being in the resource-rich bright cold realm, is barely touching the late heavenly being stage. Chapter 240, What is a Human? 8. Translator. Translating Novice. Editor. Z0 Rel. At Hong Su Ryong's candid remark, Jin Baek Ho coughs awkwardly and looks at me. What does Elder Jin Eun Yun think? It's a bit surprising. However, even if we do not marry her, building a friendship doesn't seem like a bad idea. There are feelings from Grand Elder Hong as well, and since I also don't know what intentions Lady Hun has in proposing, it seems we should wait and watch for now. I see. Jin Baek Ho nods and says. Considering the relationship between Elder Jin Eun Yun and Grand Elder Hong Su Ryong, and since we do not know why Lady Hun Wei suddenly proposed, we will politely decline the marriage proposal. Today's meeting is concluded. With those words, Jin Baek Ho issues a dismissal, and the elders inside Golden Thunder Hall use their flying escape techniques to return to their respective cave residences. In the Golden Thunder Hall, only me, Hong Su Ryong, and Jin Baek Ho remain. Do Grand Elder Hong and Elder Jin have anything else to say? At Jin Baek Ho's question, Hong Su Ryong nods. Yes. Besides Elder Jin Eun Yun's marriage, I would like to talk about Lady Hun Wei. Speak. I trust Grand Elder Hong's judgment. Hong Su Ryong nods and speaks with cold eyes. Lady Hun Wei considers Elder Jin Eun Yun as a mere object. Not just Elder Jin, but the entire sect as well. I nod in agreement. The confrontation Hong Su Ryong had with Hun Wei today was not just out of simple jealousy. Her emotions were clearly visible to me and her, who can see intent. The intent that completely thinks of me as an object and a means. And, I recall her heart essence with a bitter smile. Although not as extreme as Xiao Weio, she possesses quite a desolate heart essence. She has a very calculating personality, hiding her true self. In other words, the mischievous temperament we saw today was all an act. Compared to Xiao Weio, it's cute to the extent of a baby lizard. With such a heart essence, it seems like one could be backstabbed at any moment. Hong Su Ryong also shares her observations about Hun Wei's intent with Jin Baek Ho. If you do form a friendship with her in the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, be cautious. Someone with such intent cannot be trusted. I see. I'll take note. Jin Baek Ho nods at Hong Su Ryong's words. Hong Su Ryong then looks at me. Now you should return as well. Ah, Grand Elder Hong, please go ahead. I have one more thing to convey to the Supreme Sect Master. Is that so? I also have something to test today, so after you finish your business with the Supreme Sect Master, come to my cave residence. Understood. Hong Su Ryong opens a space rift and returns to her cave residence. So, what is it that you wanted to say, Elder Jin? Yes, Supreme Sect Master. As you know, I achieved ascension on my own. Yes, that certainly was the case. The Heavenly Lightning Banner must eventually be separated from the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. However, I am now the future sect leader of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, a talent at the nascent soul stage grand perfection, and a genius who has mastered all the methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. My ascension was, in fact, thanks to the help of our sect's founder, the Golden Deity. Exclamation mark quote. Strictly speaking, the ability to ascend was thanks to my formless sword, the blessings of the serving command seal, and the help of Yuan Yu. But anyway, the reason for ascension was because of the arrangements left behind by Yang Su Jin at the Ascension Gate, so it isn't a wrong statement. But omitting the crucial part of my explanation, it sounds to Jin Baek Ho as if my ability to achieve a ascend was entirely due to the Golden Deity. Jin Baek Ho shivers at the thought. Does the Supreme Sect Master know about the stele that the Golden Deity left at the entrance of the Ascension Gate? There was his arrangement. Thanks to that, I was able to ascend to the bright cold realm. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. My choice to join the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect was also because I received the Golden Deity's arrangements, and I thought it right to go to his descendants, the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. Upon hearing this, Jin Baek-ho trembles and then exclaims. So that was it. That's how it was. Jin Baek-ho nods as if he finally understands. When I first tested your qualities, you had a 5-element spiritual root, but after your ascension, you had a lightning sacred body. I see. The founder granted you the lightning sacred body. Oh, Jin Baek-ho perfectly fills in the blanks with things I hadn't even thought of. Well, in a way, that's true. Yes, Jin Eun-yun. So, what message do you have for me? That is, I pause for a moment. While the Heavenly Lightning Banner has to be separated from the sect, it will be ideal if the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect brings the Heavenly Lightning Banner to the head realm by themselves. However, I hesitate for a moment. In the past, I exerted my efforts in the beginning at Ascension Path to prevent my colleagues from falling into the hands of Seo Whale and the Mad Lord. The result was a colossal failure. Fate forcibly intervened, and, in some manner, my colleagues were captured by the designated individuals. I recall Yang Soo-jin's words. The fate of this world is predetermined. Then, Jeon Myung-hoon coming to the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect is also a predetermined fate, and the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect being destroyed by the True Immortal is also a predetermined fate. Single quote. Whenever I try to change the predetermined fate, fate twists and then restores itself to the predetermined outcome due to its rebounding force. Will it be the same this time? If Jeon Myung-hoon losing the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect to the True Immortal and becoming the Lightning Harbinger is also a predetermined fate, then there might be no point in trying to change it. Is there any meaning to it? What are you trying to say? As I hesitate, Jin Baek-ho asks impatiently. I look at him. Fate is predetermined, and non-humans lack free will. That was Yang Soo-jin's opinion, and whether I like it or not, I can't help but agree with him. I have seen several times how fate, somehow, changed its flow into the predetermined outcome. Then, will explaining anything to a non-human make any sense? What meaning will there be in persuading him? I don't know, but I decide to speak. Quote. According to the founder's arrangement, I saw the real content written on that stele. The real content of the stele. That's supposed to be the content passed down in our texts. That content is false. I shake my head, and then, I explain to him what I saw on the upper part of the stele in the Black Castle, as Yang Soo-jin's arrangement. Quote. That's the original content of the stele. Quote. The immortal treasure is connected to the True Immortal. Thus, it must not be taken up there. Upon hearing my words, Jin Baek-ho wears a serious expression. Has it taken effect? It's different from before when I was merely at the core formation stage. I am someone who, thanks to the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon and having a slightly larger original consciousness than ordinary cultivators due to reaching 5 energies converging to the origin, possess a grand perfection nascent soul level consciousness comparable to the heavenly being stage. I have reached the pinnacle of the nascent soul stage in just 10 years, successfully mastered all the methods of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, and been designated as the future sect leader. That is me. In short, my significance to Jin Baek-ho has changed completely from the past. Moreover, since I use Yang Soo-jin's arrangement as an excuse to persuade him, Jin Baek-ho also cannot easily deny it. Quote. So, your stance is ultimately that the Heavenly Lightning Banner must be brought back to the head realm and sealed once more. That's correct. A shadow falls over Jin Baek-ho's face. Quote. Quote. Silence lingers in Golden Thunder Hall. After a moment dominated by silence, Jin Baek-ho speaks up. Do you know why the Jaeon surname, rather than the founder's Young surname, has been passed down to the sect leaders? I don't know. Jin-hee, your master, must have explained it to you. All the methods of our sect are, in the end, imitations of the Heavenly Golden Thunder Body. In short, the abilities that can be used by the Heavenly Golden Thunder Body were degraded and reproduced as methods in our sect. However, the Heavenly Golden Thunder Body is not simply a physique that is passed down through bloodline. It's a constitution born to those chosen by the heavens, who receive celestial energy. The same goes for other physiques like your lightning sacred body or the red spirit body. Most are similar. Jin Baek-ho's explanation continues. As you know, combining all the methods of our sect results in the extinguishing divine tribulating heavens, a kind of sacrificial ritual. And there is one fact that has been passed down only to the sect leaders. That is, the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect itself is a kind of ritual arranged by the founder. Quote. And the J surname instructed by the founder to be passed down to the sect leaders is also said to be a preparation for some ritual. Although it is unclear what kind of ritual it is assumed that the ritual is related to fate since names contain fate, and changing names accomplishes the ritual. Is it because of the ritual that it can't be done? That isn't a problem either. Since Yongsu Jin himself considered the ritual a failure, I can just tell him about it. The important thing is, this ritual is connected to the J surname. The founder connected fate to the heavenly lightning banner, using it as a flag for the ritual. Quote. I feel an ominous premonition from Jin Baek Ho's following words. The heavenly golden thunder body or lightning sacred body, or typical constitutions, are not inherited through bloodlines but through celestial energy. Of course, there are exceptions like the extraordinary pattern law talent, but most extraordinary qualities are like that. However, the wall force constitution that Sohei was born with is different. Jin Baek Ho's words continue. Those with the surname Jain are born with the wall force constitution. The surname itself contains fate and celestial energy, granting the physique to the bloodline. When the celestial energy weakens as descendants continue, that's when the wall force constitution's physique ends, and descendants who do not receive the wall force constitution can no longer carry on the J surname. Originally, Sohei's children would not be able to inherit the wall force constitution and would have to take another surname. Well, I'm not sure what would happen if there were children with Jaeon Myung-hoon. He sighs. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is for one reason. Do you know where the fate's attraction that bestows such a wall force constitution comes from? I harden my expression, catching the essence of Jin Baek Ho's words. Quote. The heavenly lightning banner. Yes, there are an enormous number of people with the surname Jaeon in the sect. Because the sect leaders have continued to have descendants, and those descendants had more descendants, about 1/10 of the sect's disciples carry the Jaeon surname. In short, if the heavenly lightning banner is to be placed in the lower realm, it means we have to bring all those disciples back to the lower realm. Most of them have relied on the wall force constitution for their cultivation, so if the heavenly lightning banner returns to the lower realm, the wall force constitution could disappear, and all of their cultivation could crumble. Quote. Ha, you must know how many elders and grand elders in the sect carry the Jaeon surname. While it's about 1/10 for the whole sect, it's actually more like 7 or 8/10 among the elders and grand elders. In short, resealing the heavenly lightning banner in the lower realm means we will have to send back 7 or 8/10 of the sect's main forces to the lower realm. I am speechless with disbelief. It's one thing to bring the heavenly lightning banner back to the lower realm. But doing so would immensely weaken the sect's power immediately. Yet, I noticed something odd in Jin Baek Ho's words. Wait. Then how has the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect managed ascensions until now? I've heard about the traitor who entered the Thunder Cloud Pavilion, called Jin Wei. If those with the Jaeon surname ascended before, wouldn't they have lost their cultivation upon successfully ascending? Jin Baek Ho sighs and shakes his head. There's something called the ancestral command in our sect. Jin Baek Ho takes out a jade token with a golden glow from his pocket. The words, ancestral command, are engraved on the jade token. The ancestral command is an item that can only be used once every 100 years. It's a dharma treasure used for handling important matters of the sect or for expelling the sect's major traitors. His words continue. Most grand elders of our sect receive the golden lightning belt, but a very few receive the heavenly lightning's white belt. This heavenly lightning belt is made using the power of the ancestral command to borrow the power of the heavenly lightning banner. So then, yes, those who receive the heavenly lightning belt are selected only from those with exceptional qualities enough to ascend. Those who receive the heavenly lightning belt maintain the Jaeon surname even if they move to another realm, thanks to the power of the belt. Quote. Using the power of the ancestral command to create enough heavenly lightning belts for everyone will take tens of thousands of years. Quote. Is that so? My complexion darkens. Seeing my expression, Jin Baek Ho says. Are you afraid because, as the founder said, a true immortal might target our sect? Quote. Yes. Don't worry. Since time immemorial, it has been said that the bright cold, true devil, ancient force, nether ghost, and purple gold are closed realms that true immortals rarely visit. It's from an old document I saw in the Black Ghost Valley, but it's said that it would take a considerable amount of time for true immortals to come here. Even at the very least, we have 1,000 years. If we can nurture Jaeon Myung-hoon within that time, we can draw power from the heavenly lightning banner using the power of the heavenly golden thunder body without the ancestral command. Then, you can seal the heavenly lightning banner in the head realm as you suggested. Quote. Jin Baek-ho comes over and pats my back as if to say don't worry. I nod, pondering, is this also fate? It feels like the world itself is blocking my path, as if it will not allow me to alter the predetermined course. If I say the owner of heavenly punishment will come within 100 years, he will not believe it. I read Jin Baek-ho's intent. Ever since I mentioned sealing the heavenly lightning banner in the head realm, worry and anxiety had dominated his mind. It seemed he was worried about losing the sect's main force overnight. Already sensitive, he will be furious if I suggest that we must take drastic measures because a true immortal will chase us within 100 years, even if it means losing the sect's power. Moreover, when he mentioned what he saw in the Black Ghost Valley, the worry in his intent disappeared, suggesting he has some confidence and basis in the 1,000 years mentioned. But I can't say that the owner of heavenly punishment is a governing immortal, making 1,000 years meaningless. Just learning about the existence of governing immortals made my body melt like wax, and only thanks to Yong-Soo Jin's protection did I barely survive. Hence, I don't know what will happen if I inform Jin Baek-ho about such things. Quote. Is there no other way? I bow to Jin Baek-ho and then leave the Golden Thunder Hall. Quote. Do I have to steal the heavenly lightning banner? Now, I have two choices. First, proceed with the original plan to bring the heavenly lightning banner to the head realm and seal it, regardless of whether most of the sect's power loses their cultivation. Second, make Jaeon Myung-hoon stronger than originally planned, using the power of the heavenly golden thunder body as Jin Baek-ho suggested to eliminate the side effects before sealing it. For now, I'll go with the second option. I look towards where Jaeon Myung-hoon's cave residence is located. Not just aiming for my entry into the heavenly being stage, but somehow getting Jaeon Myung-hoon there as well. I listen intently towards Jaeon Myung-hoon's cave residence. With my hearing, sharpened by practicing demon beast methods, I can hear the sound of dual cultivation from Jaeon Myung-hoon's cave residence. With such sloppy training methods, Jaeon Myung-hoon will remain at the core formation stage even when the owner of heavenly punishment arrives. A more forceful method of cultivation is needed. From now on, I will personally train him using the ways of the Azure Heaven Creation sect. Before the owner of heavenly punishment arrives, even if I have to grind Jaeon Myung-hoon's body to dust and reassemble it, I must raise his cultivation. I resolve to focus on enhancing Jaeon Myung-hoon's cultivation as a short-term goal and head towards his cave residence. Quote. Ah, right, suddenly, I remember Hong-Soo Ryong calling me. She said she had something to test, so asked me to come to her cave residence. Wo Wang, I extend my hand beyond the plane, slicing through space. Then, I traverse space to the front of Hong-Soo Ryong's cave residence. What brings you to call me here? Usually, she would come to my cave residence to share conversations or insights. It's rare for her to call me to her laboratory, so I'm curious. Ah, come in. Hong-Soo Ryong's voice comes from inside the cave residence. Swoosh. The formation at the entrance of the cave residence deactivates and a path opens for me to enter. As I step inside, the formation barrier activates behind me, isolating the interior and exterior of the cave residence again. What did you call me here for? It's when I enter deep into Hong-Soo Ryong's cave residence. What do you mean, what for? Quote. Huh, she stands between a cross-shaped frame and a plush bed. Her arms are crossed, and she speaks while looking at the cross frame. I heard you lost the lightning sacred body after practicing the hidden method of the golden divine heavenly thunder sect. I called you here to experiment on your body. Quote. Well, if you want to experiment. And, one more thing. She shifts her gaze from the frame to the bed. There's also the purpose of dual cultivation. Quote. Excuse me, which will you choose first? Dual cultivation or being experimented on? Make your choice.